the touchdown. Oh my, Stevens.
A little bit more room. Hey, follow the football. Big man, scramble it.
Action pass to him. He fires to the top. One-handed catch.
Buchanan Simons is open. Breaks the tackle. This is going to be a 70-yard touchdown. Buchanan Simons.
Over the top, and that might be the most impressive interception all day.
What a shoot.
Breaking through the tackle.
Oh, no.
What a ridiculous sequence of events.
He's got Heath McDaniel Jr. inside the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Carolina.
The kick is blocked from Zuderveld. It's loose.
How? What?
And welcome to the Sunday Spotlight edition of Sim Football Pregame. Along with Mike St. Green, I'm Cameron Irvine, and we welcome you to the SFL studios and into St. Green's home as well. How are you doing, Mike?
Hey, doing great, Cam. Ready to see the second half of this exciting, pressure-filled Week 10. As the playoff teams starting to align themselves, and some are starting to, look like contenders. Others are starting to look like pretenders.
Yeah, and that's the kind of year, right? You head into the fourth quarter, and sometimes the subs come in, right? The reserves come in, and say, hey, let's get some playing time. Let's build for next season. We saw 6 games yesterday, and let's take a look at those scores for those of you that did not see much of the action from yesterday on Next Level Sports. Mexico City beat Fort Worth 28-10. Baltimore went on the road, got a scare from Carolina, but won 40-28. Florida hung on to beat London 27-13 in a dogfight. LA beat Louisiana in a slugfest. There was a ton of sacks in that game. LA wins 14-7. Jacksonville wins a thriller in primetime, 40-38 over DC, another heartbreaker for the Dragons. And Atlanta smashed Tulsa 48-3. Of all the results from yesterday, Mike, what stood out to you?
The Florida-London matchup, it stands out to me simply because Florida, they really came in with a great defensive game plan to slow the London passing game down. And they did a lot of bump coverage on Ben Callie and MSG this entire game, and took them out of the game pretty much. The previous week between those two receivers, they had 33 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. This week, only 10 catches and maybe a little over 100 yards receiving and no touchdowns. And then also on that defense is Alex Dominguez, had 4 big sacks to disrupt Johnny Pickle in the pocket. And so they did a great job of keeping that, big London passing game off balance. And Florida in general, Cam, they have really, I guess they typically fly under the radar for us because we're used to them being so good all the time. But outside of the Week 1 loss to Arizona, they have been fantastic. They won 5 in a row, 6 of the last 7. And then that's just the Florida Storm machine that we're used to seeing. But it's kind of ho-hum to us because it's not new. We see it all the time, and you get used to the things you see all the time. But great job by Mighty over there, and these guys deserve every bit of the kudos that they deserve.
I'm used to you at this point, Mike. I see you all the time. Los Angeles took down Louisiana 14-7. You don't often see a 14-7 score in the SFL, but it was sort of a battle of the defensive fronts, and Los Angeles ended up having just enough. It seemed like Jack Flash may have been the difference there. When you compare the two teams, everything was pretty even, particularly Robert Johnson and Reggie Streeter almost had identical numbers yesterday, but Jack Flash seemed to be that kind of X factor for LA's offense to put them over the top.
Yeah, it's interesting that you go to this game next because Los Angeles could be put in the same category, at least as far as this season goes, for the teams that are kind of flying under the radar, doing a great job outside of the first week of the season. With these guys, they've done a great job this season, but they've kind of flown under the radar. beating teams, close and tight, which we've come to find out that's what they like to do. That's the team that they want to be. The defensive line has really stepped up here in the past couple of weeks, and a great secondary. They've been great all season long. Ryan Joseph had a big interception along the sidelines yesterday. They kept Louisiana off balance. I mean, this is a game we thought we were going to see, and this is the game that we got. And this is the way Los Angeles want to win. They've been doing it all season long. They've had the only big loss, like I said, was mentioned, was to Baltimore early. First game, they lost, I think, 57-10 or something, some crazy score like that. But other than that, man, they've been solid all season long.
Yeah, I'd really like to see a rematch between LA and Baltimore in the playoffs, because that week 1 game you can almost throw out as a totally random score that helped Baltimore stay undefeated. But LA is totally different now. I think that'd be one of the more fascinating playoff matchups if we get it.
Yeah, week 1, because LA has, they had a coaching change 3 weeks in with a winning record, and they were still looking for themselves. They were still trying to find themselves. Baltimore, they've been together, for several years now. They won the championship a couple of seasons ago, so they came out guns a-blazing that first week. But yeah, it would be interesting to see now how these teams would match up later in the season. And like I said, in a couple weeks here in the playoffs.
Our broadcast is full of lichens with Tim Hackett's on play-by-play coming up next. Rochelle Colston, Tom Rahman on stats. So we've got a big LA crew here with us today. Well, before we get more into Week 10, let's look back at some Week 9 numbers. Here were some interesting quarterback numbers we had. Again, coming into Week 10, this is sorted by QBR. Now, the asterisks you see on the in the numbers are career highs. Career high for Tom Pepper right now at QBR with 105.4. Career high for Jack Wigmore, 32 touchdown passes. A.J. Caswell, career high QBR, and he has been in the league for years, 101.6. He's been very efficient. Career high in QBR also for Ashley Jackson, creeping up on 100. It's very interesting, Mike, because there's a lot of different styles of play on this screen with this QBR. But Pepper, despite maybe cooling off a little bit after that blazing start after he set all those records, still at the top of the class this year.
Yeah, Vancouver, again, they're one of those teams that we're used to seeing, eye-popping numbers offensively. We're used to seeing these same numbers from Tom Pepper. And, yeah, it seems like he's cooled off from that big 700-plus yard performance in Week 1. But, here we are late in the season, 28 touchdowns, his career high in QBR. And he's the same old Tom Pepper that we've, come to know and love throughout his career. But one big standout is, Ashley Jackson. She has progressed, upwardly throughout her career. She was known for throwing a ton of interceptions and turning the ball over, and her touchdown to interception ratio, has always been out of whack and out of kilter. But, now she's reined it in. She has Donnie Hands over there, the Hands brothers, he and James Hands. They've added TJ Punk to that wide receiver core this season, and she's been super, super efficient, keeping Arizona out of, bad situations. And lo and behold, they have a 6-3 record going into Week 10, and she has a career high in QBR.
Now, the name that surprises me on this list is Ace Fenech, Mike, because they're the only team on this list that has a quarterback below 500. Lone Star's 4-5. Right. We'll see him later today off FTF against Houston. But the defense has really let the glory down because Ace Fenech is actually having a pretty nice season.
Yeah, he's definitely having a solid season. I was looking at Ace's numbers, throughout the season, and I was kind of surprised to see how low he was as far as total yardage. His touchdown passes were down as of a few weeks ago, but he has risen that. The past couple of weeks we've seen Soto get involved in the passing offense, and they've kind of come around as of late. But they struggled early because they weren't getting that accustomed. That deep ball that we're accustomed to seeing from them, at least that we saw last season. We didn't see a lot of that early in the season, but he has come around of late. And Lone Star, as you mentioned, they're in a huge 4-5 matchup with Houston later on today. So, yeah, they're getting things turned around. We'll see how far they can get it turned around today against Houston.
Let's take a look at some running back numbers. as Ezekiel Love leads the way. By the way, Vancouver's Tom Pepper will be up next against St. Louis here on For the Fans. But Ezekiel Love, this is sorted by rushing yards, running away with it. Phoenix Jones, career high, 1,270 yards already this season. Jet Zero, career high, 1,202 yards. Bullet Beletsky had a really bad day yesterday, but I was going to come into this segment saying, oh my gosh, look at Beletsky surging up the list. Career highs in every statistical category for him, but London surprisingly shut him down yesterday. What stands out to you on the top running backs list so far through 9 weeks?
I was actually going to lead with Bullet Beletsky.
There you go.
But as
Great
you
minds think alike.
Yeah, he did have an off day yesterday, and as you mentioned, surprisingly, the London defense, did a great job of shutting him down yesterday. He did manage a short touchdown run to increase Florida's lead over London yesterday, but he had. Man, looking at this list, it's hard to pick out one guy that really stands out. I'll just say about Jason Williams. He's having a solid season for what we expect Jason Williams to do, but the other four guys on this list have been really impressive all season long. And as of past couple of weeks, I have really been impressed, in particular with Charlie Beletsky. He's just been solid all season long. He's just impressed me through the, receiving out of the backfield, as well as you get this guy in open field. He can take it to the house at any given moment, and it's hard to give one of these other four guys credit without taking something from the other, because Jet Zero, he's coming to his own this season. Phoenix Jones has been a beast every time we see him take the field, and Ezekiel Love, he's a walking 150 yards per game machine over there in Portland. So, great seasons being had by all of these guys, but the breakout seasons from Jet Zero and Charlie Beletsky have really stood out most of the way.
Ezekiel Love plays later today against San Diego on the SFL Twitch channel. We'll see what the Mavericks throw at him. We put these numbers together, Mike, just to show the dominance of Baltimore. This is point plus minus all time in the player progression era. And you can see Baltimore, this is coming into yesterday, plus 190. That would be an SFL record of dominance. They won by 12, so now they're plus 202 with 2 weeks to go. Now you can see how these top teams, these most dominant teams in league history, you can see what happened to them. Alaska, of course, Florida, but Alaska back in the day of their dynasty, they're the only teams on this list that actually won the championship. Denver lost to Baltimore in the semifinals of season 15. That's when the Vultures won their first title. And the Tallahassee Pride, now Jacksonville Kings, lost to those same but slightly less dominant Alaska Storm team in the season 10 title game. So what will be the result of Baltimore this season, Mike? I mean, plus 202. They're literally the most dominant regular season team in league history. Well,
one thing that stands out to me just seeing this list in general is that if you can't score, you can't win. You definitely have to put up points in this league and any league to win games. But it also tells me maybe you have a dominant or at least sufficient defense to accommodate that great offense that you may have. But man, what will the result be for Baltimore this season? That's going to be a tough question to answer at this point, because as I mentioned, Florida, they're having a great season. Mexico City, they're having a great season. This is really a top-heavy league this season with those three standout teams. And Baltimore, by the way, 10-0, but they've clinched a playoff spot, but have not clinched a division title.
Isn't that something?
They have Queen City right on their tails, who are in a big game later today as well. To try to create a huge Week 11 matchup with Baltimore with an outside chance to still win the North Division. So, what will the result be? I don't know. I'm usually into bold prediction, but I can't really predict that one. But they definitely have a better shot as anyone to at least reach the championship game.
Yeah, and Baltimore, Queen City, Baltimore's clinched a first-round bye, and they haven't clinched a division, which has to be the first time ever.
Yeah.
But Baltimore and Queen City play each other next week at 1 Eastern on For the Fans So don't miss out on all that exciting action as those two battle for the North Division. When we come back, it is the top 10 plays from the third quarter of the SFL season. We'll keep you we'll get you up to date on the up-to-date playoff standings and playoff positioning, and we'll also preview our day-to-day on the For the Fans slate of games. You're watching Sim Football Pregame, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Sim Football Pregame with Mike St. Green. I'm Cameron Irvine. Before we get a little bit further into Week 10 and what's been going on and what the updated playoff situation looks like, let's take a look back and reflect on an amazing Weeks 7, 8, and 9 and check out the top 10 plays from the SFL's third quarter.
In the box defensively, handoff Boletsky. He doesn't care. He's going to try to have a juke here. He's got open field in front of him. Down the left sideline. Does he have the speed and the burn to get there? Broken tackle, and he's in to the house. Charlie Boletsky with a touchdown, and Florida takes the lead.
To change the direction of the field was looking like he was going to cut to the right, but said, nope, I'm going to cut all the way back to the left sideline, Chris, all the way back to the left, and then makes the final burst right there, breaks that final tackle, and gets into the end zone for the Florida Storm. What a great run by Billy Boletsky.
And with the speed of Vincalia, that presents its own problems. Quick over the middle, but caught, and that's another touchdown for Calia. 4 on the night.
4 touchdowns for Johnny Pickler, 4 touchdowns into the capable hands of Vincalia, who is approaching a second century in receiving yards.
He can block this attempt. They stay undefeated. Jacksonville defeated Tulsa 31-13. Here we go. This is for the ball game. Will we have an upset? Or will Queen City stays undefeated? Again, 39 yards. Snap is down. The kick is on the way by Jones. It's good! Carolina pulls off the upset.
Whistle Jones coming up huge there for his team with the walk-off, making amends for his earlier miss. What a game by Carolina.
Charleston trailing once again. Can they rally again? Here's Swearingen. Wow. Daylight for Swearingen. Left tackle breaks away. Gets away from Francis. Gets away from Ryan Davidson. He's still going. Breaks away from another tackle. Are you kidding me? Keith Swearingen does it again. 66-yard touchdown. Charleston can tie it up again.
What did Keith Swearingen have in the halftime in the locker room? What did you guys feed this beast? He broke how many tackles? more than 3. There's gonna be 1 here. That's 1. Here comes 2. The third one incoming, and we know the end of this story. Keith Swearingen, what a touchdown from this guy.
That's unbelievable. We talked about how great the secondary for Florida is, and he just broke through at least 3 of these legendary players. Yards and touchdowns this year. 2nd and 13. Synergy wants it all, and it's picked off. Synergy will have to pay the price for that decision. Queen City back the other way. Cody Griffin has had his moments, good and bad, in this game, and the rookie comes up with his 7th interception and his first season in the big leagues at the most critical time. Queen City has new life.
Absolutely, and this is not only did it give them new life, they got it at the perfect opportune moment with about just under 2 minutes left. That's 1 minute 40 seconds. They have 2 timeouts.
Hey, squads. There's an out route towards the bottom of the field. And it's what?
They're saying that's a catch.
That's unbelievable. Probably comes away with the best reception of the week. Richard, underneath the center. You know it's going to Johnson. Here's a 2-step drop. Throws it out to Tommy Robinson. Wide open as he crosses Hollywood Boulevard. What a touchdown reception from Tully Richardson in LA. Across the goal line to tie it up at 20.
Now here's the question, Devon. Who gets it here?
2-point attempt. Twins to the left of Sully Richards. Looks like he's changing the play. And it's going to be a pass to Johnson, and Johnson is hit right at the goal line. He does cross the goal line, and he does pick up the 2-point conversion.
Wideouts in the game for the Mavericks. 5 DBs, and that is intercepted! Fort Worth comes away with a turnover late in the first half. It's David Horrell, the first career interception for David Horrell, the third-year linebacker. And now he gives Fort Worth a chance to put points of their own on the board. Deflected, and that is caught by Percoco. An amazing juggling catch, and Fort Worth is going to hurry up.
She has displayed high hand today of just an expert.
Curtis over the middle, another catch, and that is Robert Garrett Jr. scrambling, and that's a touchdown for Fort Worth.
My goodness, Fort Worth just decided all of a sudden, hey, let's just target these big old tight ends, and it's working to the T because Robert Garrett took that and broke a few tackles on his way to the end zone.
And that is just a nice ball, and you see Garrett doing it. And I thought he was down right there, but look at that guy just churn those legs.
Jackson under center hands the ball off to Moses. Moses breaks through a couple of tackles. Breaks through another crossing midfield. Kennedy stopped. Only Mickey McGuire has a chance, but he's not going to get there. Touchdown, Scorpions. That's how you start a quarter.
Oh, Mike, did you see that brilliant stop and go from Moses? Just throws the defense, then turns on the afterburner, and see you later. Hasta la vista. Woo!
Look at this. Look at this. 80 yards to the house.
Right here. Whoop.
So many broken tackles. Moses. Back-to-back carries. He's off to the races again. Can he repeat? It's going to be even longer if he can beat the defender. He can. 10, 5, touchdown. Lightning has struck twice.
I don't know what to say, Mike.
My goodness. Well, Matt, you have. How do you follow up an 80-yard touchdown rush with an 87-yard touchdown?
Jared Willis gets a call. Willis fumbles it, and Baltimore is going to run this back. You cannot be serious right now. Troy Loshaw returned to sender. It's a scoop and score.
Oh, big play there by the Baltimore defense as you got a scoop and score, as you said. Alan Mack with, I believe, the hit right there, jars the ball loose, and that ball just bounces right into the hands of Troy Loshaw. Boy, and if things go right for you, they go right.
And this past week, getting prepared for Carolina has been back and forth, but here's what is Phoenix from hell from Phoenix Jones. Brings another. Look at this score. Sport, dude. I just crossed Hollywood Boulevard for the second time today.
Strong power out. That's the same play they ran to score the touchdown just as the half was ending. They ran it again here in the third, and they scored another touchdown off of it. And Phoenix Jones is telling his offensive coordinator, You better not take this past the playbook next week, or we gonna have some words, fella.
Don't you wish you had that stiff arm, Mike? Did you ever have a move like that back in the day?
Well, in real life, maybe, but my stiff arm is probably not as strong in the sim life.
Really? So you're claiming that you have a stronger stiff arm in real life than in sim life? Are you serious right now?
Yes, I am extremely serious right now. I'm not one to mince words when patting myself on the back.
Oh, no, you are not. Here's the playoff standings for week number, 9.5. This is after yesterday. Vegas has moved into the 12th spot at the moment with a common games victory over Lone Star. Lone Star St. Louis, of course, Houston's also in the mix, but Houston's down there at 15. We saw a little bit of shuffling. We did see Florida clinch the Atlantic, Mexico City clinch the South, and Baltimore clinch a first-round bye. But it's still pretty jumbled. We're going to get some answers today. Vancouver and Portland have to keep pace. That's pretty important. But at this point, with Charleston and Queen City also coming up here in FTF bonus coverage, Charleston isn't chasing Florida anymore, but they're trying to get that wild card home game.
Yeah, Cam, if you look at what stands out to me with this, and by the way, Charleston, this is a huge game for them today, but also for Queen City. But if you look at 5 through 8 right now, it's going to be a really, really good football team that's not going to get a bye in this season's playoffs. I mean, it's incredible how competitive 1 through 8 is at this point. And Charleston is in a huge game as well to try to stay out of that 5-5 jumble with everything else, as well as keep pace and try to hang into that Atlantic division over there that Florida is in control of right now. But man, this is going to be a huge day for Vancouver, as you mentioned, for Charleston and Portland as well, to try to keep pace with this very, very competitive playoff pairings right now.
Yeah, and Arizona's got to keep pace today, too. Kind of a trap game, perhaps, against Sioux Falls with Mexico City looming next week. But Arizona not really in danger of going on the road in the first round because they are 2 games still up on the division. But Vegas still does have a path to catching Arizona. But Arizona's also trying to catch a team like Queen City, to be able to get a first round bye as well.
Yeah, not playing that extra game is always a plus. So, but Arizona, this is one of those Arizona type games for me to where, you go into it thinking, okay, well, yeah, Arizona's going to take care of business, but then, they lose to winless San Diego. Arizona's going to take care of business and they lose to a young Denver Nightwings team early in the season. So this is a dangerous game for Arizona from what we've kind of seen from them in the past. Sioux Falls has been struggling this season as well as over the past 2 seasons. This should be a game that Arizona, should win. But until they prove it to me on the field, I don't know. But it's a huge game for them as well.
People give Baltimore grief. They say, they haven't played anybody or they haven't played a difficult schedule. Their strength of victory is better than Mexico City's, Atlanta's, Vancouver's, Charleston's, Portland's, Louisiana's, Las Vegas. I mean, they've beaten some pretty quality teams when you look at it in the big picture.
You know why they say that, Cam? Because they're the best team. I mean, they're just one of the best teams. They haven't played anybody, sure. They played everybody, the same teams that everybody else has played, but they just dominated them. So that's easy to say sometimes. But now, Baltimore, they're right where they deserve to be, and they're right there where they played their way, into so far this season.
Coming up next, we'll preview the SFL slate today on For the Fans. It comes your way next. You're watching Sim Football Pregame on the For the Fans Network. All right, Mike, now's the time as we welcome you back to Sim Football Pregame. It is the day's preview, and coming up next, a monster game between the Vancouver Legion and the St. Louis Gladiators. St. Louis is 4-5. They got upset by San Diego last week, and it really put them in a hole. They're now currently in 14th place. Vancouver trying to keep pace with LA. And then coming up here a little later, Charleston at Queen City. The Corsairs could be a trap game for them too. Looking ahead to Baltimore next week, but Charleston is no pushover.
Yeah, Cam, are you playoff worthy or not? That is what this next block is going to answer for St. Louis and Charleston and Queen City and Vancouver. Not so much. They're in good shape, but St. Louis, are they going to be one of the 4 and 5 teams rather coming into this week that are going to step up and say, hey, we are still in this thing. We're still a part of it. And Charleston, 5-4 coming into this game. They want to stay out of that, 500 realm. And Jacksonville in that Atlantic division had a huge win yesterday over DC to get themselves into that 4-6 conversation. And with a huge game against Charleston coming up, maybe the week 9, or I'm sorry, week 11 or 12. But yeah, this is going to be a huge game for both of those teams today. Can they get over the hump? Can they pull off a big wins against teams that are already firmly in the playoff race?
Now, Mike, yesterday was kind of a rare day because we did not see a single team with a worse record win. All the teams with the better records yesterday won. St. Louis and Charleston are the worst records in this first block. You've got Denver on the road as well. Houston and Lone Star have the same record. Obviously, Sioux Falls and San Diego have worse records. But excluding the Houston Lone Star game, if anyone was to pull an upset today, where do you think it might come from?
I think it may come from Charleston. They played a very good game against Florida last weekend. They just happened to come up short. These two teams, with Queen City and Charleston, they play very similar styles. Queen City, they're going to pound the rock with Jet Zero. Charleston, they're going to pound the rock with Keith Swearingen. It's going to come down to those defenses. Who can slow the other team down the most? Who can come up with that, maybe last-second turnover to turn the game around? Charleston probably are in a better position to come ahead and win this game today.
We're looking forward to it. Tim Hackett, Aaron Alexander have the kickoff from Vancouver. When we come back, this has been Sim Football Pregame on the FTF Network. We'll be right back. Kickoff is next.
for the fans, welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
The Sunday Simulation Football League slate kicks off in Canada. The path to the postseason in Season 17 continues in Canada Field. It's the fourth ever meeting between St. Louis and Vancouver, with plenty of playoff implications in play. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to British Columbia, alongside producer extraordinaire Cameron Irvine, our statisticians Tom Rahman and Rochelle Colston, and my partner Aaron Alexander. I'm Tim Hackett. You're watching the Simulation Football League on For the Fans. Happy to have you with us. And with just 3 games left in the regular season for these two squads, Aaron, this is a game both teams really want to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
At 4-5, and you got to figure that this is a game that both teams really want to have, as you just outlined, but for St. Louis especially, with only 3 games left in the regular season and 1 game under 500, this is almost a must-have for the Gladiators.
Yeah, absolutely, especially after that surprise loss to the San Diego Mavericks yesterday, or last week, excuse me. Yeah, St. Louis definitely needs to come into this game with a bit of a fire under them, especially against a Vancouver team whose offense has been absolutely electric this season.
Yeah, the Vancouver offense has been fantastic once again this season, anchored by league veterans Tom Pepper and Robert Redford, but at home, the Legion will start on defense. A very important game for the St. Louis Gladiators on the road, and they will get the ball to start things off. The kick away from Ramon Rakowski, and we are underway on this SFL Sunday slate from north of the border. Elsie Mondavi returning these kicks this year for Drew Reilly and the St. Louis Gladiators, and she will get out to the 30. So St. Louis coming in at 4-5, like we said. As Aaron mentioned last week, a surprise loss to the San Diego Mavericks, a team with just 1 all-time win before last week. They spring the upset against St. Louis, a team that had beaten the San Diego Mavericks just a couple of weeks prior, so they split the regular season series, and that puts St. Louis in a hole, as Cameron Irvine talked about pregame. First play of the game, Christian Brown tosses it out. Cairo Martinez on the catch, and he is decked immediately by Josh Farnsey.
Yeah, that's one thing this Vancouver defense has been pretty good at this season, is guarding those really short yardage passes. Of course, anchored by a couple of veterans in the secondary.
Secondary has been fantastic, and there are 6 standouts among them. Can St. Louis get Cairo Martinez going? They will try to here. Big hole for Martinez. He gets, oh, check that. It's Bill Cherry, the fullback. Nope, first time's a charm. It is Cairo Martinez. We expect to see a lot of both of them. That's why I jumped the gun, but Vancouver was ready for that. An 8-yard gain for Cairo Martinez, who is really yet to get off and running this season, Aaron.
Yeah, Cairo Martinez definitely not having a season particularly thrilling from the veteran halfback, but still a key piece to this St. Louis offense.
Early third down for Christian Brown, and he gets thrown down from behind. Mike Coverson throws him to the ground, and a third down stand for this Vancouver defense. St. Louis will have to punt.
Yeah, this is a really good start for the Vancouver defense, forcing a 3-and-out on the very first drive here. Unfortunate for St. Louis. It's still early goings, so they still have a lot of time to get something going. Unfortunately, just not.
Yeah, not this time. St. Louis has been solid to this point in the season on offense, but they've been very good on third downs. 56%, one of the best marks in the league, but nothing doing for them that time. We talk about solid on offense for St. Louis. How about elite on offense for Vancouver? And Aaron, like you hinted at, that has been the MO for Andy Hamilton's team for the last couple of seasons. Vancouver has been one of the better teams in the SFL for the last 3 or 4 years, and coming in today at 6-3, they have been anchored by this electric offense, including possible Offensive Player of the Year candidate Tom Pepper, the veteran quarterback, Captain Canada, playing for the league's only Canadian team. Pepper will step up, has all day to throw into traffic, and it's picked off on the first play of the game. He'll get up and run with it as well. Back the other way goes Freeman Peltier, and he's tackled inside the 10-yard line. An early mistake for Tom Pepper.
Yeah, an early and rare mistake for Tom Pepper there. And Freeman Peltier just able to read that pass from Tom Pepper incredibly well, get his hands up, get his hands on that ball, and Peltier gives St. Louis an absolute dream after the 3 and out.
They will start with the ball inside the 10. Another pick for Tom Pepper, another pick by the St. Louis defense. They're 25th as a secondary this season. And a dream start now for Christian Brown and company. Split back set in 2 wides. Brown to throw, sidearm into the end zone, swatted away by Drew Hamilton. Great play defensively by Vancouver. That's Dougal McGuire in on the pressure. What can this Legion defense do to combat St. Louis from a short yardage situation like this?
I mean, realistically, if that last drive was anything to go by, just keep getting pressure to Christian Brown, but also make sure to contain both Cairo Martinez and Bill Cherry, who are both capable of breaking runs from this range.
Same formation, Brown to throw again, doesn't move at all, and goes down again. Second sack of this first quarter by Vancouver, which came in with 19 total sacks. That's Hanson Austin, one of the linebackers on the stop. 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, the backup outside linebacker on the sack there. So a good call by this Vancouver defense on 2nd down.
And 19 sacks by Stars, making 20 now after that one from Coverson. Hanson Austin joins the party. 3rd and goal. Brown zips it, and it's caught for a touchdown by Phil Koss. St. Louis turns the interception into 6 on their 2nd drive of the game.
Yeah, and that's honestly a really gutsy call there on 3rd and 16. Just a really nice pass, though. Christian Brown able to get the time that he needs into the hands of the #1 tight end, Phil Koss, who finally breaks the 300-yard mark for the season.
Yeah, he goes over 300 yards on his 3rd touchdown catch of the season. What a zip from Christian Brown to the 3rd-year tight end, former minor league champion Phil Koss. PAT coming up from Taz von Wolfswinkel, and he knocks it through. Aaron, this game has been crazy to start with. We haven't even had an opportunity to catch our bearings yet, but this is what this St. Louis team can do. They are so good at taking the ball away. We talked about Vancouver's secondary being good. St. Louis has one of the best secondaries in the league. They've had that for years, even though this year their makeup looks totally different than it has in the last couple of seasons. And Freeman Peltier, a former safety who is a standout at that position, moves back to corner this year. He gets that pick, just his 2nd this year, to set up an easy 2nd drive touchdown for the Gladiators. Dean Maddox on this return for Vancouver, and they will start off a more traditional possession from the 34. Suddenly, though, Vancouver has to play from behind.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a shock on that one. If you're the Legion, though, with this offense that Vancouver has, they're definitely more than capable of making up that difference very, very quickly.
Yeah, one of the best offenses in the league. 2nd in points, 1st in total yards. And Tom Pepper trying to right the ship, tosses it this way. That's more like it. Dan Daly on the catch, gain of 13. Vancouver moves the chains. Let's introduce you to this Vancouver offense. We like to do that. Didn't have a chance to because of that early pick. Tom Pepper, the quarterback, his 9th season in the SFL. You see him here with Dan Daly, 7th-year tight end. James Walters is the other tight end. Robert Redford is the tailback. 3 wide receivers, Brett Killian, Kendra Hall, and Chris Curtis. And the offensive line is anchored by guard Michael Percoco and tackle Mike Newtones. An absolutely elite offense and Pepper is at the controls like he has been for the last 8 seasons. 2 in the backfield and 3 out wide. Pepper deep drop, floats it over the middle looking for Hall, and it's knocked away. Drew really in on the coverage for St. Louis, and when Tom Pepper goes back to throw, Aaron, more often than not, he's looking for Kendra Hall.
Yeah, Kendra Hall, despite only being a third-year receiver, only her second now with this Vancouver Legion, Kendra is very much wide receiver 1, at least in terms of total yardage. She comes into this game over 1,000 on the season already.
It's hard to outshine Brett Killian, who is one of the best wide receivers in SFL history, but Kendra Hall at a lot of times this season and even last season has done just that. Second down, Pepper will throw. Robert Redford, his first touch out of the backfield, accelerates down the sideline, and Peltier is able to hog tie him down inside the 35. He was near to breaking that tackle, Aaron, but just barely able to stop him as Peltier, the veteran corner.
Yeah, very, very lucky that Peltier was able to hold on to the beast that is Robert Redford in order to prevent him from getting any additional yards. But Redford showing what he's capable of when given the opportunity.
Of 22 through the air for Robert Redford, who is one of the most used pass-catching running backs in the SFL. 82 catches through 9 weeks for Vancouver, 4th most, not just among running backs, but 4th most among all players. First carry of the day for Redford. He's going nowhere. Hit behind the line of scrimmage that time by Nicholas Warner, former linebacker turned strong safety this year. He has had a very good season, 3rd TFL of the year for him.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that this St. Louis defense has absolutely excelled at, is their defense against the run. Currently first in total yards allowed at only 56 per game.
That's an insane metric, and Vancouver will go back on the ground with Redford. Not a lot doing there. Stopped by Matthew Hulford, rookie defensive end. And Vancouver's run game, Aaron, has really improved over the course of the season. Robert Redford was off to a really slow start through 2 or 3 weeks, but he has turned in another excellent season. But going against the #1 rush defense in the SFL, like you said, got to figure that Redford might be up against it today, but St. Louis's pass defense, not too shabby either against one of the best passing teams in the SFL in Vancouver. They will throw on 3rd and 8. Pepper's pass is caught. First down for Vancouver. Right at the sticks they go. That's Chris Curtis, the only new addition to this team in the offseason. Andy Hamilton and company kept everybody from last season to this season except Nate Hall. They replace him with Chris Curtis, the veteran wideout, and he delivers there on 3rd down.
Yeah, Chris Curtis coming over from Queen City to bring just another veteran presence to the wide receiving core of the Legion.
His 9th season in the SFL. Pepper floats it to the sideline looking for Killian, and Drew really reaches up and gets just a piece of that one. Killian on the right sideline that time, Aaron. Pepper going that way, one-on-one, but St. Louis wins the battle.
Yeah, St. Louis's secondary proving to be a bit of a nuisance for Tom Pepper in this Legion offense so far. Tom Pepper currently only 34 yards through the air. Definitely a different look.
Targeting Brett Killian. Yeah, no doubt. Targeting Killian twice, 2 incompletions. Now he will go this way, back of the end zone, and way too far through the back of the end zone. Going for Brett Killian once again, and those 2 fellow Canadians who have been running mates here for the team that plays in Canada for a long time, not on the same page there. 3rd and 10.
Yeah, not on the same page there. Unfortunately, for Vancouver, they're coming to a long 3rd down situation just outside of the red zone.
Vancouver has not been very good on 3rd downs this season, just 48% middle of the pack. 3rd and 10. Pepper, similar looking play again going for Killian, and it's batted away by Rolger Law, the new addition to this St. Louis defense, one-on-one against an all-time great, and the sophomore corner wins that battle. 4th down.
Yeah, the so-called long arm of the law bringing his arms into play there on that pass deflection, and it's going to force Vancouver to settle for a field goal here, despite a promising start to this drive.
You got me on that one, not going to lie. That was excellent. You should mark that one down. That's one of your all-time bests, Aaron. Very good. So Ramon Rakowski will come on for the field goal. Remember, neither of these 2 teams invested in kickers in the offseason, so that makes field goals a little bit more difficult, but Ramon Rakowski says So much for that. Nails it from 38. Vancouver with the response drive after that early St. Louis TD.
Yeah, fortunately, it's not the response they may have wanted. That drive stalling out just shy of the Gladiator red zone, but points on the board nonetheless for the Legion here.
They go 46 yards on 10 plays, capped off by that 38-yard field goal from Ramon Rukowski. Thanks to Tom Rahman and Rochelle Colston for helping us out in the stat truck. They do a fantastic job. Two of the best in the business, both on and off the field, no doubt. Here goes Elsie Mondavi, a new addition to this St. Louis team. She will get the Gladiators out to the 35. Let's meet the Gladiator offense in what we believe to be a critical game for Drew Reilly and company. The offense led by sophomore quarterback Christian Brown, running back Kyra Martinez, fullback Bill Cherry, two wide receivers, Eagle Mondavi and Paul Dillevu, two tight ends, Phil Koss and Guy Clausen, and the offensive line anchored by a pair of tackles, a pair of rookies, Patrick Kelly and Jacob Stevenson. Very new look St. Louis offense from a couple of seasons ago. Brown will throw this way. It's caught by Paul Dillevu, his first catch of the game, and he is trucked at the end of it. A pickup of 13 through the air for the third-year wideout, and St. Louis with a nice start to this drive.
Yeah, absolutely. A great catch there by Paul Dillevu. Able to get this ball upfield despite a bit of an awkward catch and pushes St. Louis further down the field with another first down.
If you're new to the SFL, you can configure your roster just about any way you want. You have a select number of star featured players, if you will, and you can allocate those featured players across any position. St. Louis has taken a unique approach. Brown into traffic. It's caught for another first down. Another gain of about 12. That's Eagle Mondavi. Right on cue, Aaron. They only have two standout wideouts, and we see them both on back-to-back plays. The two biggest focal points of this St. Louis offense getting involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Both Paul Dillevu and Eagle Mondavi absolutely key to getting this St. Louis offense going here.
Both of them pick up 14 yards officially on those last two plays. From enemy territory, here goes Kyra Martinez and a gain of just 2. So to spell out what we're talking about, St. Louis allocates their offensive stars in such an interesting way. Only 2 star wideouts. A lot of teams run 3. 2 standout tight ends. Most teams only feature 1. They have a standout running back, which every team does, and a standout fullback. Not every team does that. Most teams have at least 1 rostered offensive lineman. St. Louis has 2, but they've decided to invest in both tackles. That is a very unique approach, and it's resulted in a 4-5 record. Here's Bill Cherry, one of the most active fullbacks in the SFL. We mentioned we would see a lot of him. He gets his first carry, runs right into backup tackle Dougal McGuire, and no gain.
Yeah, unfortunate that Bill Cherry not able to get anything there. St. Louis uses their fullback as a well-oiled augment to the rest of this offense.
Brown will throw it on 3rd and 8 into traffic, intercepted. A risky throw, and Brown pays the price. Kyler Murray has his 6th interception of the year. Brown looking for Dillevu. Vancouver with a nice takeaway to respond.
Yeah, and honestly just a great read on this ball by Kyler Murray, who ties now Kappa Jones all time. And a boon here for the Vancouver offense, though they are stuck pretty deep in their own territory.
For as much as Vancouver's defense has struggled at times this season, they have been excellent at taking the ball away. Both of these teams now have 27 total takeaways this season, top 5 in the league. Vancouver from inside their own 10. Pepper hits Redford, a couple of spin moves, and he picks up 6. We mentioned Redford used a ton out of the air. 82 catches for 487 yards coming into action today, as well as 6 receiving touchdowns. That's more than a lot of wide receivers in this league through 9 weeks, and he gets involved a lot for this Vancouver offense. He is a superstar, no question about it. On the ground they go, spins out of a first hit, and he can't get out of a second hit from behind by Tom Tanner, second-year defensive end, and this St. Louis run defense showing up.
Yeah, just a quick note about that last play. The previous drive, we sang the praises of Roger Law. The spin move, though, made him jump the gun a little bit on a diving tackle that missed because of the spin move by Redford.
So Redford fights the law, and the law does not win in that situation. 3rd and 2 now for Vancouver. Pepper, deep drop back, wants a deep ball, and it's batted away. Going over the middle, looking for Dan Daly, and Nicholas Warner has had his fingerprints all over this game so far. Has another pass deflection. He's got 10 this season to go with 8 picks. A former linebacker now playing safety again, and what a season it's been.
Yeah, and honestly, a very, very good showing by this St. Louis defense after the interception by Christian Brown. Forces a 3-and-out on the ensuing drive by Vancouver.
Yeah, fantastic point. Oh, and then the block is on, but they're not quite able to get to it. Brian Patrick sends it away. Fair catch called for and made right at the 50-yard line. And St. Louis will have fantastic field position with a 7-3 lead. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at www.simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. St. Louis with an early lead, and now the ball from midfield. Brown continuing the sidearm sling. It's Mondavi with a nice gain out inside the 30-yard line and a gain of 23 through the air for the Eagle.
Yeah, Eagle Mondavi, the absolute focal point of this Gladiator offense, makes a great showing of it there with a nice ball from his quarterback, Christian Brown.
Third-year wide receiver Eagle Mondavi has been absolutely sensational this season. Top 10 in the SFL in catches, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. Second in the league in targets. 106 coming into today. Here goes Martinez. Bruising run for Cairo Martinez. Leaves a couple of men in his wake. Kevin Brackett finally brings him down at a gain of 7.
Yeah, Martinez is proving himself to be quite a nuisance to this Legion defense. He's had some pretty outstanding runs so far this game. Currently on an average yard per carry of 5.7.
Normally averages less than 4 yards per carry. One of the lowest place marks in the league. Brown to throw. Dillavu on a quick out, first down, and an easy pickup that time for St. Louis. We figured, Aaron, that would be the goal for the Gladiators on offense. Can they exploit the Vancouver rush defense? They've given up the 5th most rushing yards of any team this season through 9 weeks, but the St. Louis running offense has not been very good. As we mentioned, Cairo Martinez has had a slow season, so can St. Louis utilize Martinez and Bill Cherry to exploit Vancouver's biggest defensive weakness? On the ground they go, and Vancouver ready for that one. Drew Hamilton is in there on the stop. Martinez, no gain.
Yeah, and that's just a great call by the Vancouver defense there in order to stop Martinez from getting anything more, at least at this point on this drive. But still a dangerous situation for the Legion defense here against St. Louis.
Martinez has had a slow year, 18th among running backs in carries, 20th in yards with under 600 through 9 games. Brown again this way. Again, it's caught by Dillavu. That was a similar play and a similar result. 6-yard catch for Paul Dillavu, who has been overshadowed by Eagle Mondavi this season, to be sure, but 6th in the league in catches, 14th in yards, and 5 touchdowns for him, and exactly 100 targets coming into action today. Remember, Mondavi had 106, so between those two standout wideouts, 206 targets. Christian Brown has thrown the ball 341 times. He will do so again here. No, he won't. He gets thrown down again. 3rd sack for Vancouver. Mike Coverson's got 2, and that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, Coverson, relatively quiet on the sack front throughout this season, has already increased his sack total closer to the rest of this defensive line here.
No doubt. The Legion. Yeah, no doubt. Gerald Giudice and Achilles Papatonis have been leading the pack. Coverson trying to cover some ground. We're done with one from north of the border. St. Louis with the lead on the road. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on For the Fans. Welcome back to Canada Field alongside Aaron Alexander, Tim Hackett here with you live with Tom Rahman, Rochelle Colston in the stat truck, Cameron Irvine, Mike St. Green behind the scenes. First of 6 games of this SFL Sunday slate as we pick up pace towards the postseason in season 17 of the SFL. St. Louis in striking distance. Wonky snap and the kick coming from Van Wolfswinkel, and he knocks it through from 31 yards. So 2 mid-range field goals for these 2 teams, Aaron Alexander, and we've yet to see either team really take off so far, but St. Louis with a strong start on the road.
Yeah, St. Louis with a start that a lot of people might not have expected, considering how their game went last week against San Diego. What I think is more surprising, though, is how slow Vancouver's offense has been to start this game.
No question. They will get the ball now down by 7. But Tom Pepper and company, and we've seen some good stuff out of Robert Redford so far, Aaron, but we've not seen anybody else really show up to the party so far. Cam and Mike were talking about it pregame on the pregame show, but Tom Pepper is putting together one of the best seasons of his career, and he was absolutely fantastic for Vancouver last year, getting them to the SFL semifinals. This year, he's 2nd in the league in passing yards, 6th in completion percentage, 3rd in touchdowns, and 1st in quarterback rating at nearly 105.5, a career best for the 9th-year veteran. But so far through 1 quarter today, albeit not a lot of action, but through 1 quarter today, nothing to show for it. He will throw here, trying to change that, lofts it up, and it's picked off by Nicholas Warner. Warner was wide open on that play, going for Killian again. Warner takes it away, his 9th pick.
Yeah, and that's not going to help the QBR. Prior to that, Tom Pepper with a QBR of just 16.7. That pick drops it down to just 11.7. And St. Louis, I said in pregame they needed to come into this game with a fire under their behinds, and they've shown it so far in this first quarter.
2 interceptions already of Tom Pepper. He's up to 22 now thrown this season, in this his 10th game, and St. Louis will start in enemy territory once again. Can they capitalize? Brown, down he goes. Down goes Brown, the 4th time today. And Dougal McGuire, who is not one of the featured members of this team, has had a massive impact. Another sack.
Yeah, the backup defensive tackle in Dougal McGuire brings up sack number 4 now for this Vancouver defense. So the defense for the Legion trying to keep them in this game.
Here goes Martinez trying to exploit that Vancouver rush defense that we talked about. He does so. That's a nice way to get your offense back on schedule. Let's tell you about the Vancouver defense for head coach Andy Hamilton. The defensive line, Mike Coverson, Achilles Papatonis, and Gerald Giudice. Linebackers, Josh Farnsey and Kevin Brackett. Cornerbacks, Kyler Murray, Dean Maddox, and Ashley Rose Finch. And the safeties, Mark Lopez, Drew Hamilton, and Major Key. 3rd down and 7 for St. Louis. Way too far out of field goal range. Brown will bomb it right seam, knocked away. Great one-on-one coverage by Kyler Murray. Just talked about him in this great Vancouver secondary. This team needed a stop. The defense provides.
Yeah, Kyler Murray looking to pick up another interception there for the Legion. Unfortunately, not really able to get his hands on the ball like he wanted to, but brings up a long 4th down here for the Gladiators.
Most of this Vancouver secondary has been playing together for a long time. Murray's 5th year playing north of the border, his 8th total in the SFL. So much veteran presence in this defensive backfield. Here comes the punt from Johnny Pickles. It dies inside the 10 and it's down at the 9. Excellent flip of field for St. Louis, and Vancouver will start with the ball deep inside its own territory once again.
Yeah, and the last time Vancouver started a drive inside of their own 10, it ended in a 3-and-out. This St. Louis defense able to hold Vancouver extremely well here. And, of course, Tom Pepper's going to look to recover mentally from that pick on that last drive.
Yeah, Pepper's thrown 2 picks. Both have come on first plays of a drive. Another risky one. Make it 3. 3 first play picks for Tom Pepper. This one going to Freeman Peltier, his 2nd today.
Yeah, Tom Pepper looking not very Captain Canada-esque in this game, as his QPR's going to drop below double digits now with that pick. And I I can think of a couple people that are very happy at this display so far. That's the entirety of the LA Lycans.
Not to mention the Portland Fleet, but no question, those two teams watching this game closely, as is everybody in St. Louis's division. Here goes Brown, sidearm toss, swatted away. Drew Hamilton with this Vancouver defense right back on the field. The secondary continues to show out, except for that one throw to Phil Cause. They've been pretty good.
Yeah, Drew Hamilton, in just his second year in the league, comes up big there for the Legion after that interception.
Hamilton's first year was in season 15, took last year off to let Mark Lopez play strong safety. Lopez is now back at free safety, meaning Drew Hamilton's back in the fold. Here goes Bill Cherry, powers up the middle, and a pickup of about 5 or so, stopped at the end by Brackett. And that is what Bill Cherry can do, Aaron. He is very explosive for a fullback, relatively speaking.
Yeah, Bill Cherry with that run now at over 250 yards, which is almost unheard of for a fullback in this league.
He also hasn't fumbled this season, so talk about reliable. 3rd and goal now from the 4. Brown fires. One receiver was diving. There were 3 defenders there. Not a great throw that time from Christian Brown. Brings up 4th down, and the Vancouver defense holds again.
Yeah, the Vancouver defense has been absolutely pinnacle in keeping the Legion at least somewhat in this game, despite the... Oh, goodness, what am I looking for? The underwhelming performance that the offense and Tom Pepper has had.
No kidding. St. Louis is yet to really take advantage of that, and so Taz Van Wolfswinkel will come on to attempt another field goal. Vancouver with more good pressure, and Van Wolfswinkel hits it from 21, so he's 2 of 2. Remember, neither of these teams have star kickers, but hasn't mattered so far. They are 3 of 3 combined. Are you a next-level SFL fan? Then visit the SFL League website at simulationfl.net for info on how to create a player and to join our community. Check out League Leaders. We've got stats from all 17 seasons of SFL action and track game, season, and career numbers of all the players over time who have gone from couch to field. The Simulation Football League, 17 seasons strong. Only 2 more weeks in the regular season after this one, and this is such a pivotal game for both teams, as we've already outlined. Vancouver sitting pretty so far at 6-3. It would take a lot for them to miss the playoffs at this point, if you ask me, even if they lose all 3 games. But if they lose all 3 remaining games, they might have a tough time getting in because their strength of victory, which is a huge factor in playoff tiebreakers in this league, is terrible. In fact, they have the worst strength of schedule in the SFL and the 4th worst strength of victory. So they need to win. Here goes Redford, pickup of about 4. And again, Aaron, I mean, obviously a win here over 4 and 5 St. Louis would not improve that strength of victory all that drastically, but 7 wins for Vancouver, they're pretty much a lock.
Yeah, 7 wins is definitely, I don't want to say fully locked in, but definitely a very high likelihood of being in the final 12 at the end of the season to make playoffs.
Vancouver cannot clinch a playoff spot today, but a win would almost certainly help them clinch somewhere along the line the last couple of weeks. Pepper flips it out. Redford is blown up. Great hit at the line. St. Louis has stood out today. That is Mark Gronick, the outside linebacker with another TFL.
Yeah, St. Louis again has come into this game with just a torch almost burning under their backsides with how they've been playing so far. They haven't been able to convert on some of those turnovers in the way that they might have liked, but it's definitely St. Louis's game right now.
Just a 10-point lead. Pepper into traffic. That was a risky throw, going for Dior Smith, one of the backup wideouts, and there were a couple of members of the Gladiator defense in there. No dice for Pepper, and another punt upcoming, their second 3-and-out of this first half.
Yeah, their second 3-and-out of this second quarter, and another big stop at that for the Gladiators. And Vancouver needs to change something. They're looking not like themselves.
No question. Vancouver has now possessed the ball 6 times. They've picked up a first down on just 1 of those 6 possessions, and of course 3 of those possessions have ended with punts. Or I'm sorry, as that punt goes away, 3 of those possessions have ended with interceptions on the first play of the drive. This Vancouver offense, to call them out of sync is not really saying enough. Christian Brown has really settled in as this season has gone along. A really rocky start for him and for St. Louis. Threw a ton of interceptions over his team's first couple of weeks, but he's settled down. He's only thrown 20 interceptions entering action today. That's middle of the pack. Sounds like a lot, but quarterbacks in this league do throw a lot of picks. Martinez on the give, blown up by Kevin Brackett, and a gain of just 4. And so Christian Brown, as he's settled into this season for St. Louis, his second year as the signal caller, St. Louis fans well know the first time in years that St. Louis has had a quarterback return to this team for year 2. Even though he's settled in, the results have not settled in for St. Louis. It has been an up and down season for this team all year long. Trying to finish on a high note. Brown, another sidearm sling. Mondavi has the catch, but he's out of bounds. Brett Killian will escort him back in and say, I could teach you a thing or two about toe tapping catches. Doesn't do it there.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised we see a bit of laundry on the field from the St. Louis sideline. One of those that's really, really close to call. So we're gonna see if we can get a good look at it in the replay here. If Mondavi was able to get the toes in with the toe drag swag.
Yeah, so Andrew O'Reilly, who's been a part of this team for a long time, has defensive backing, or background rather, offensive background, and now the head coach for St. Louis throws the red challenge flag. What do you think, Aaron?
Just based on the way the replay was, his right foot was in when he caught that ball, and then he stepped backward, which I think was why it was ruled out of bounds initially, but that right foot well in the play area, so I think a good challenge there by the Gladiators coaching staff brings up another first down for the Gladiators.
So it is a successful challenge for Andrew O'Reilly and for St. Louis. The Gladiators move the sticks. From their side of midfield, Brown, deep pass. Behind the defense, he's got his man, Guy Clausen, the tight end. Biggest catch of the year for the sophomore tight end. Inside the 10-yard line goes St. Louis on just one play.
Yeah, Guy Clausen, the young tight end 2 here, out for the Gladiators, picks up 45 on that one. Not something you see from a younger tight end like Guy Clausen, but comes up in a big way for this Gladiator offense and sticks St. Louis's nose firmly within the Vancouver red zone yet again.
He had 74 receiving yards all season through 9 games, and as you say, Aaron, 45 yards on that catch alone. St. Louis with first and goal from the 7. Split back set with Cherry ahead of Cairo Martinez and a couple of tight ends. To give to the up back, it's Cherry, and Vancouver ready for that one. Hit from behind by the Greek Achilles Papatonis, gain of 1.
Yeah, Bill Cherry, though, doing what he does best, kind of bruising up the defensive line and linebacking core of the Legion on that run.
You know, St. Louis might be looking for him here. He scored 2 rushing touchdowns this season, had just 2 total over his first 2 years. Brown, though, will throw. Looking back at the end zone, and it's knocked away. A couple of bodies were there, anchored by Mark Lopez, the veteran free safety. 3rd and goal coming up.
Yeah, a very dangerous play potentially on that pass. Could have easily been intercepted by 2 different Legion defenders. But lucky that that one just falls incomplete, though it looks like the red zone struggles of St. Louis continue here.
They've only converted once on their red zone opportunities so far. That dart of a touchdown to Phil Cause to get the scoring started. On 3rd and 6, Brown at the back of the end zone. That's caught. St. Louis converts here. And once again, Brown to Phil Cause. Second time today, the Gladiators up 19-3.
Yeah, just the second touchdown for the Gladiators, and I believe their first one actually properly inside of the 20-yard line. As St. Louis extends their lead even further now.
Oh, you're right, because remember, St. Louis had that first early drive, and then Christian Brown took a sack that dropped them outside of the 10. Ended up being the touchdown pass from Brown to Koss. This time they're inside the 10. Von Wolfswinkel hits the PAT. Second time today, Brown to Phil Koss for 6. That had happened just twice all season through 9 games in St. Louis with what would be probably the shock of the recent part of this SFL season as we're officially into the final quarter of play in the calendar year. You see at the top of your screen, Vancouver, the home team, typically wins on the balance of things in this league. Better this year, I guess, than in years past, but Vancouver favored by 10.5 at home, and it's St. Louis with a 17-point lead. The Vancouver offense has done nothing so far. It has been crazy just to see how little this team has been able to do so far against this good Gladiator D.
Yeah, I absolutely have to agree with you. It's honestly surprising how off Vancouver's offense, has been so far in this first half.
They'll try to get it going here. Here's Redford, and he runs up for a gain of about 1. Let's introduce you to this St. Louis defense. You've gotten to hear from a lot of them so far, but who are the folks that are making it happen? There's Mark Gronick again on the stop. He and Rodney Panani are the 2 linebackers. Haven't heard from the defensive line much at all. Tom Tanner and Matthew Holford on the outsides. Igor Barbatov and Mike Bilott on the insides. The secondary, they are really good. Safeties, Geralt Winkler and Nicholas Warner, and 4 standout cornerbacks. I'll tell you about them after this play. Pepper to the top of the screen. That's caught short of the sticks by Brett Killian. That would be his first catch of the game, but there's a penalty flag, Aaron. Our first of those today.
We may see a late hit flag here.
There you go. Score again for you, Aaron Alexander. Late hit on Mark Gronick, who has been very busy these last couple of drives. And he's going to be charged with the late hit. We'll get another look.
Yeah, just taking a look. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely a late hit there. Killian already well established out of bounds when Gronick came in for that hit. So I don't want to say disastrous penalty, but definitely not one you want to see from the Gladiators' point of view.
No doubt, and it gives Vancouver a free first down. It would have been 3rd and shorts. Gladiators don't want to do anything to try to ignite this Vancouver offense for them. Pepper to throw, looking this way. That's caught by Killian. Spin move and a first down for Brett Killian, who had been shut out through a quarter and a half. Back-to-back catches for him here for one of the best wideouts in SFL history. And we talked about St. Louis, their offensive proclivities towards their 2 wide receivers, but Vancouver knows a thing or two about that. These 2 wideouts, Brett Killian and Kendra Hall, who we have not heard from at all this season, possibly the best 1-2 punch in the league. Pepper will throw. There she is, right on cue. Kendra Hall makes another highlight reel catch, jumping up and hauling it in with her right elbow. First down.
Yeah, Kendra Hall showing why, despite her lack of experience compared to the rest of the receiving corps, has been the star of the show here in Vancouver with a beautiful jumping elbow catch, as you said. And Vancouver finally showing signs of life here.
Kendra Hall had been held completely off the score sheet. 1,029 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns, both good for 4th in the SFL through 9 games. Vancouver in the red zone for the first time in a long time. Pepper over the middle. That's caught, and a gain of about 6 over the middle for James Walters, the second tight end for Vancouver, his 11th catch of the season.
Yeah, just his 11th catch, but that one, a good start to his day, as Vancouver's going to look to finally get something more on the board.
We've seen both number 2 tight ends make impact catches. They're both now up to 11 receptions on the year, Walters and Guy Clausen. Clausen, that big catch to set up St. Louis's last score. Here goes Redford attacking this great St. Louis run defense. It's just a couple. Freeman, Peltier on the stop. Here is that St. Louis secondary, the 4 standout corners. Peltier, who you've seen a lot of in this game, and Colin Douglas, his former safety partner, are the corners along with Drew Reilly and Rolger Law. That is the contingent for St. Louis. A 20-3 lead on the road, late stages of the second quarter. Big spot for Vancouver on 3rd and 2. 2 wides and 2 in the backfield. Pepper pump fakes. Now fires back of the end zone. Swatted away by Nicholas Warner. Another fantastic play for the veteran. Former linebacker, 8th year in the league, makes another stop. 4th down coming up.
Yeah, a part of me thinks that Vancouver should go for it on only 4th and 2, but realistically, they're going to put it to the boot No.
Wow, we saw Ramon Rakowski getting ready to come out, but Vancouver will bring the offense back.
They're trying the old patented bait and switch here, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised. They do this a lot. Play clock down to 5, and Pepper will call a timeout. St. Louis holds firm, Aaron. They do not fall for the car salesman tactics, and now Rakowski will come out and attempt a field goal.
Yeah, a bit of a sign. I can't find my words right now. I'm sorry. A bit of discipline. There we go. From the defensive line of St. Louis to hold steady, not fall for the Legion hard count of Tom Pepper, and Vancouver going to be forced to settle with another field goal on just their second scoring drive.
Second time today, Vancouver gets into enemy territory. Second time today, they will have to settle for a 3-point attempt. Again, not a guarantee, even from this distance. And Rakowski's kick is through, no problem. These two kickers have been perfect so far. Rakowski is 2 of 2. The SFL's 17th postseason gets underway on Next Level Sports and for the fans on Saturday, October 16th and Sunday, October 17th with wild card round matchups. For the newest SFL participants, the SFL's minor league, SFLM, kicks off its 4th season on Friday, October 15th. The SFL's YouTube channel is home to all the minor league action at youtube.com/SimulationFL. To get on the field and into the action, visit SimulationFL.net to create a player today. Soon enough, you could be on the field like these pros are. For the first time today, we've got a game break. Here's Cameron Irvine in the studio.
Thanks, Tim. Mike, 15 plays from Queen City starts the action off. They took over half the quarter.
Yes, Cam, and Jet Zero closes it out with a nice touchdown run. Queen City goes up in this key battle, 7-0.
Charleston getting the ball for the first time. Coming up, that game's on SFL Twitch. Back to Tim and Aaron in Canada.
Cam, Mike, thanks so much. That game between two teams that are firmly in the thick of the playoff conversation. Queen City with 7 wins already. Charleston looking for an important win to keep pace. Similar story here, Aaron. Vancouver at 6-3. A win would almost certainly lock up a spot somewhere in the postseason picture for them. St. Louis needs an upset win to keep pace in their division and in the playoffs, and they are up big, 14 points. The Gladiators to the good with less than 3 to go. Brown will float it up. It's caught again. Another big gain. Is that guy Clausen again? No, check that. It's Eagle Mondavi. That's more like it for St. Louis. 88, not 86. Clausen already with 1 huge catch. This time it's more true to form. Eagle Mondavi hauls in another big play.
Yeah, absolutely correct on that one. Mondavi, I believe, close to, if not past, the 1,000-yard mark on the season here. And a big play by Mondavi.
It's been a fantastic season for the former minor league standout. Brown to throw again, hit in stride again. That's Phil Koss, another big catch for the tight end. Brown has really spread it around in this game, Aaron. That has not been his MO this season. We talked about their 2 standout wideouts, Mondavi and Dilivu, both over 100 targets this season. They've taken up 60% of Christian Brown's targets and 72% of his yards. But today, the Gladiators spreading it around. 2 minutes left in the first half. Back after this on For the Fans. 2 minutes left in the first half. A surprise, to say the least, with St. Louis up big on the road. Tim Hackett and Aaron Alexander here with you live with the Gladiators threatening once again. First down from the 17. Brown hit as he throws, tosses it off. It's Dillevue with the catch in the flats, and he picks up the first down out to the 6-yard line, a gain of 11 for Dilly.
Yeah, a very, very impressive catch by Paul Dillevue there, who has passed a career milestone in this game, over 2,500 yards.
Not bad for somebody who's almost through his third year in the SFL. Here's Bill Cherry. This is Cherry territory, you would think. Nothing doing for him there, a gain of just 1. And Henson Austin, one of the backup linebackers who already has a sack in this game, with a stop and a gain of just 1.
Yeah, definitely have the right of it. Definitely within Bill Cherry's range.
Brown under heavy pressure. Down he goes again. Vancouver has had Christian Brown's number all game long. St. Louis had only surrendered 13 sacks through 9 weeks. Top 5 mark in the SFL, and Vancouver's got a handful of them so far today.
Yeah, that's sack number 5 on the game for this Vancouver defense. Coverson picking up a hat trick
already in the first half. 3rd and goal. Brown over the middle. That sack doesn't matter. A hat trick of touchdown passes for Christian Brown. This one to Paul Dillevue. St. Louis goes up by 20.
Yeah, the first passing touchdown not into the hands of the tight end Phil Cause. This one goes to Paul Dillevue, who crosses the 50-yard mark, receiving on that play. And St. Louis extends their lead even further now in what has been a surprising showing by both of these teams.
St. Louis had only scored 22 touchdowns on offense through 9 weeks. It's obviously about 2.5 per game through 9 games. So far today, 3 already in the first half. Von Wolfswinkel has put in a couple of PATs, or a couple of field goals rather, and he adds in the PAT as well. St. Louis can do no wrong, Aaron. The only problem so far is they've had to settle for too many field goals from Von Wolfswinkel, and they haven't really capitalized on those interceptions from Tom Pepper, but in all other facets of the game, what a start for the Gladiators on the road.
Yeah, St. Louis has proven themselves to be the more dominant team here in this game. St. Louis definitely trying to prove that they belong solidly in the playoff picture, as they currently sit just outside it at 14th.
Remember, St. Louis went 3 and out on its first drive. Then they had an interception later, but they have scored on all but 1 of their other possessions in this game. It has been a clinic for Christian Brown, Phil Koss, and company here almost through a half. Halftime show with Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green coming up in just a little while. Can Vancouver do anything before then? 2 timeouts left from the 30. Redford out of the backfield, spin move for Redford, breaks out of a tackle, and he's finally cleaned up at the end of the run by Mike Billot, the defensive tackle. Speaking of that halftime show, it's coming up next with Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green. They'll break down the first half of the Gladiators and the Legion as Vancouver's running hurry up. Robert Redford picks up a couple. And they'll sit down with St. Louis tight end Guy Clausen, who you've already heard from in this game. Stay tuned for the halftime show in just a couple of seconds. Here goes Redford as they continue to hurry up. And Redford is stopped short of the sticks, and that will bring this drive to a halt. Vancouver up against it at home. St. Louis has looked stupendous. The Gladiators up 27-6. 3 touchdown passes for Christian Brown, and that's the difference in the game. We'll head to halftime. Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green with the SFL halftime report right after this. You're watching the SFL presented by APM Music on For the Fans.
Welcome back to the SFL studios for halftime, along with Mike St. Green. I'm Cameron Irvine. A shocker, Mike, 27-6. The St. Louis Gladiators on the road. We had just mentioned on pregame that we didn't have any upsets yesterday, and St. Louis is pulling a big one here. 10.5-point dogs up 21.
Cam, in the late, great words of Mr. Rogers, can you say dominant, boys and girls? This has been a dominating performance in the first half by St. Louis, in particular in the second quarter. 20 points in the second quarter. This defense has been great this entire game. Freeman Peltier with a couple of interceptions. Also, Von Wolfswinkel's had a couple of field goals to close out those drives. It looked like it may come back to bite them here early, with those turnovers, but then they got things together, and Christian Brown was able to cash those turnovers in with a couple of red zone touchdowns. And wow, St. Louis, they're up big at halftime.
200-plus yards for Christian Brown at the half, and he had a big throw down the field to Guy Clausen, who got his first career touchdown a couple of weeks ago, and he is our people behind players spotlight this weekend. And let's take a look at what Guy had to say and meet Guy Clausen. And welcome to this week's edition of People Behind Players. Today we have the tight end of the St. Louis Gladiators, one of them anyway, Guy Clausen, with us. How are you, Guy?
I'm doing fantastic.
Hey, Guy, glad you could join us. Second season in the league, 20 total catches for your career, a little over 200 yards, and you had your big first touchdown last week. But one question I want to ask you about, I want to go back to the minor leagues. A lot of us that played in the minor leagues, we look at that as our university, so to speak, and that's our alumni and things like that. You've spent time with the Annapolis Navigators. They're coming back to the minor leagues this season. How do you feel about seeing the Navigators back in SFL?
I miss that Boattail logo so much. I'm very happy. As a matter of fact, my original coach that coached me in season 2, he's now back coaching them. So I'm very excited that they return. Although he has like a new OC and DC, as part of his staff, but I'll be rooting for them when when season 4 comes around.
Yeah, Guy, you, as Mike mentioned a couple of weeks ago, you got your first touchdown. Very momentous occasion, at least first touchdown in the majors. What was that like? As a tight end too, sometimes, it's more about blocking than targets, but it's a big deal to get a score like that.
Yeah. When I first saw when I got my first touchdown, I was screaming, "Oh my God!" like 5 times straight, and it didn't. It took me a while to soak it into, like, when we kicked off the ball back to Tulsa after my touchdown. So it was I'm glad I got that check my check I'm glad I got that check on my list. So yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the team a little bit. And let me just tell you, St. Louis, the schedule gods have not been kind to this team. I've looked back at the schedules. Has to be one of the toughest schedules of anybody in the SFL this season. And speaking of that, you guys probably played Baltimore, one of the tougher games that they've had all season. But yet you guys sit at 4-5, and here we are. These last 3 games are just as big as anybody has had all season. Vancouver, Louisiana, and Atlanta on this schedule. And like I said, in a lot of ways, I feel like you guys are one of the better teams in the league. How do you feel about, your chances of pulling off these, a couple of these last few games and getting in the playoffs this season?
Well, I will go back on the Baltimore game. I'm glad we didn't get blown out by them, to be honest. We had a chance to beat them, And then like once Jimmy got injured and his backup came in, I think his backup changed the whole like game plan for us, and in the final 3 games, we do know we have. I mean, our playoff fates are in our hands, and this Sunday, we are going to weather the storm against Vancouver. We know they can score like that in an instant, and we just have to slow them down, and and try to pull out a win there.
Guy, St. Louis is one of the most inclusive teams in the league. The SFL in itself is inclusive, but St. Louis has always been one of those teams that understands that anybody can play this sport and everybody is of equal value to this game. St. Louis also coincidentally is the most inclusive to becoming an owner in this league. Four of the guys on the team own stakes in the team, from Dwayne Schindler to Colin Northrup to Eagle Mondavi and Drew Riley. What's it been like from the beginning, not only for you, Guy, but how St. Louis embraces all of their players and tries to make them as family as best as they possibly can?
Yeah. When I first got drafted, everybody welcomed me with them open arms, and I'm glad I've been drafted by them, and sorry, I'm losing my train of thought, guys. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's a lot. You've had a long journey with these guys already. It feels like you've been on this team forever, Guy. And I looked it up, and you've only been there like a year.
Yeah. That's very true, Cam. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying when they drafted you, they
welcomed me with open arms. Yeah. Because I do get kind of nervous when I'm meeting new people, same way that I did back in the minor league in season 2. It felt like I went into a jungle back in the minor leagues, and I only had a compass in my freaking hands. I have no idea which way to go there. But I settled in with the people, the players from season 2, and I became friends with them, especially with Tom and Christian, because me and those two, we were part of that season 16 draft picks for Gladiators, and I'm glad I'm with them to this day, and we are still we are still a young team, but eventually we will contend for a championship in the future. We just
Well, Guy, we can't all be like Mike, who just opens up his home doors to anybody, even though he's never met any of us before. And maybe one day when we meet you, it'll all be open arms, and it's always good. But it's nerve-wracking meeting anybody. But that's what this league's all about, right? We just try to take baby steps.
Baby steps.
Mike, you got anything else?
No doubt. Guy. Like I said, 2 seasons in the league. Can you tell us a little bit how you found the SFL and what made you decide to become a part of it?
Boy. Okay.
Sounds like a story.
It is. So, I'm a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan, right? And in 2018, I just got done watching like an Eagles video, and then there's this list of like the right demo list of like videos recommended, right. And then I see this graphic says St. Louis Gladiators versus the Indy Red Devils. I'm like, what's this here? What? So then I click on it. It was uploading, and then it showed the video, and it's like, I never heard of this league before because I assumed this was like a real life semi-pro football league. It was like an esports football league until I saw the football stadium design, the scoreboard graphic, and I was like, wait a minute, I know that game. I played that game before. Wait a minute, what? I mean, I did know a little bit about esports leagues, like Madden and NBA 2K tournaments, and I was watching the video, and I couldn't believe the quality and the production of the video, and I was pretty much blown away. I come to think, I think Andy called that game. It was the summer of 2018, season 11.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Andy called that game.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're happy that you found us, and we're happy you're here. And you go from watching the St. Louis Gladiators the first time you ever saw the league to actually playing for the St. Louis Gladiators. So that's pretty awesome. Well, Guy, thank you for joining us today. Appreciate it, and good luck in the second half against Vancouver.
Thank you. All
right, thanks, Guy.
Bye.
Great stuff from Guy Clausen there, another great SFL member. Queen City's having a great day, 21-0 over Charleston now. They are blowing them out, Mike.
Yeah, Queen City flexing their muscles a little bit and telling Baltimore, next week, hey guys, we're here. we're just as good as you guys. Look out next week. Jet Zero's having a great day. The defense is 3 and out. These guys maybe 3 times already as Jet Zero goes on another run.
Got away.
Queen City totally dominating Charleston right now.
21-0. Setting up the Battle of the Titans for Queen City, Baltimore next week on For the Fans. This has been the APM Music Halftime Report. We'll get you back out to the second half from Vancouver, where surprisingly, Guy Clausen, St. Louis Gladiators up 27-6. You're watching the SFL on For the Fans.
crazy result brewing in Canada at the halftime break. St. Louis on top of Vancouver, 27-6. Welcome back to Canada Field alongside Tom Rahman, Rochelle Colston, Cameron Irvine, and Aaron Alexander. Tim Hackett here with you live from Vancouver, BC, with the road team on top by 21, seeking what would be a statement win and also an essential win for the Gladiators as they try to improve their path to the playoffs. Aaron, Tom Pepper and Vancouver have been fantastic on offense so far this season, but so far today, different story.
Yeah, in a surprising turn of events, St. Louis's defense has held Tom Pepper to under 100 yards passing in the first half.
The guy who is second in the league in passing yards with over 3,400 through 9 weeks, trying to right the ship. Robert Redford, the running back, gets the toss. Drew Riley, the cornerback, makes the stop. If you're just joining us, Vancouver had 3 possessions in the first half, which ended on the first play of that possession due to Tom Pepper interceptions. 2 of those went to Freeman Peltier. St. Louis could not turn all of those giveaways into 6, but they were able to turn those giveaways into points. Christian Brown has outdueled Tom Pepper, no doubt about it. Over 200 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, a quarterback rating of nearly 124 for the sophomore signal caller, Christian Brown, versus what Tom Pepper has done. Here he goes this way, looking for Chris Curtis. Second catch of the day for the veteran wideout. He had just 2 catches last week for Vancouver in their blowout win over Tulsa. And right now, Vancouver up against it at home.
Yeah, Tom Pepper finally hitting the century mark in passing yards. We talked about Christian Brown's QBR. Tom Pepper is currently 6th at 26.
And that won't help. Igor Barbatov pulls the switch and pulls down Robert Redford in the backfield. We have been waiting to see Igor Barbatov take off in the big leagues, Aaron. He was so good in the minor leagues with Lincoln in his first year and came up with St. Louis looking to be the next great defensive tackle. And we really have not seen that from him yet. Just 1 TFL this season. Give him 2.
Yeah, unfortunate that Barbatov hasn't been able to get the production that he's wanted, but comes up in a big where there, forces another punt by the Legion.
Vancouver drive summary is pitiful at best in this game. Those interceptions that we mentioned, another 3 and out. That's now 3 of those for Vancouver in this game. And St. Louis, meanwhile, started to take advantage of those opportunities, and they were very, very good. They scored points on their final 3 possessions of the first half to go up by 21. So Christian Brown trying to lead St. Louis to the playoffs once again. He will start off by tossing it to Paul Dillevue and a pickup of 6. We mentioned this down the stretch in the first half, Aaron, but these 2 wide receivers for St. Louis really do all of the heavy lifting for the Gladiators. Remember, they have 2 star wideouts, 2 star tight ends, and a star fullback to go along with the star running back. So an interesting construction. But Dillevue and Eagle Mondavi have combined for 60% of Christian Brown's pass attempts, 72% of Christian Brown's passing yards, and 75% of his passing touchdowns entering action today. Here goes Cairo Martinez in a big gain for the running back Martinez, blasting up the middle, first down St. Louis.
Yeah, Dillevue and Mondavi are definitely the nuclei for this Gladiator offense, augmented, of course, by the likes of Cairo Martinez in the run game and Phil Cherry, especially the fullback in the run game, as well as Phil Kaz and Guy Clausen are good players in their own right. They don't get a lot of action, but when they do, they're able to come up big for this Gladiator team.
And St. Louis spreading the ball around a lot more today than they typically do, as Cairo Martinez has nothing that time. Drew Hamilton in on the stop. What's crazy to me is that even though entering action today, St. Louis averaged 38 pass attempts and 25 running attempts between their 2 star figureheads. What's weird to me is that their starters, their featured players, totaled the exact same number of carries and catches through 9 weeks, 227. That doesn't count any action any backups get, as Cherry pulls up and picks up a couple, brought down at the end of the run by Mark Lopez. But it's just crazy. That was Martinez. My apologies. It's just crazy the balance on this St. Louis offense. 227 carries for Martinez and Cherry combined, 227 catches, for Mondavi, Delavu, Koss, Clausen, Cherry, and Martinez. The balance is striking. St. Louis now trying to balance out their season record and move to 5-5. Third down, Brown saucers it. Delavu makes the catch, but Murray makes the stop right at the sticks. Fourth down coming up.
I, again, expect to see some laundry on the field, perhaps on the spot of that ball. Or perhaps St. Louis decides to either go for a bait and switch or actually go for it here in 4th and inches.
Yeah, they might go for it. Remember, this is why you roster a guy like Bill Cherry. Carl Martinez knows how to plug up some holes and make some tough runs. But Vancouver jumps off sides. St. Louis will pick it up anyway through Martinez, but they got somebody on the Legion to jump. In either way, St. Louis aggressive. They roll the dice, and it comes up big.
Yeah, I believe that was sack leader Mike Coverson on the jump there.
Right you are. Mike Coverson already with 3 sacks today. That gives him 7 on the season, bringing him right in line with Achilles Papatonis and Gerald Giudice for team leaders. We haven't heard from those two very much at all this game. Dougal McGuire has really had a bigger impact than those two guys, which is a surprise. But either way, after the penalty, free first down for St. Louis. The aggressiveness pays off. Here goes Bill Cherry, who lowers the shoulder and picks up 6. Well, let's head over to the studio. Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green with a game break.
Thanks, Tim. Mike, just when you thought Charleston was going to get back in it.
Yes, Cam, right when you thought Charleston was going to what? Come back. No, Cody Griffin says no. Interception in the end zone. Preserves a shutout in the first half. Queen City up big in this game.
Another pick at the half. Baltimore, you're next. Back to Tim and Aaron.
Dan, thanks so much. All Queen City in that game. All St. Louis to this point in this game. Short gain for Martinez there on second down. And like we said, Aaron, a win here for St. Louis is paramount. You lose, you go to 4-6. That makes the last 2 weeks of the season with 2 more divisional games coming up absolutely essential. You're not getting into the postseason with fewer than 6 wins. 6 might not even be enough, but it's the absolute bare minimum. 3rd and 2, another sidearm fling. This time it's picked off. Mark Lopez has another one out across the 30-yard line, and a big-time interception for Vancouver to stop up this early St. Louis drive.
Yeah, much needed, I think, by the Vancouver defense to just try and get something going, try and swing the pendulum toward the side of Vancouver. That pick by Mark Lopez definitely helps. His 5th on the season.
Vancouver's defense has been so deep this season, it's crazy. They've got 3 guys that came into this game with a total between 85 and 88 tackles. Mark Lopez led the team with 88, just 1 more than Drew Hamilton. Pepper trying to get his team back in. It fires right into the breadbasket of Dan Daly, who has a 9-yard catch. Stopped just short of the first down line, they say. And 2nd and inches.
Yeah, I definitely think Daly crossed the first down marker there. The refs a bit stingy with their spotting so far this day. But a very, I don't want to say easy because nothing's ever easy in this league, but reasonably an easy 2nd down to pick up.
Can they do it? Vancouver, Pepper hit as he throws, and that makes things a lot more difficult. Igor Barbatov with the quarterback hit. Plays on consecutive drives for the 3rd-year defensive tackle from France. Can he finally get his career up and running? This St. Louis defensive front has really struggled to generate pressure this season. Only 8 total sacks, including 1 from their 2 linebackers. So their defensive front has really done next to nothing. Mike Bellot is their team leader in TFLs with 6. That's it. 3rd and inches. Big time for 1 here for St. Louis. The give to Redford, trying to crack outside, and there they go. They get a TFL right when they need it. Nicholas Warner, who has had a huge game from the St. Louis secondary, makes the stick. 4th down and inches coming up.
I have questions about Redford's vision there because it definitely looked like a hole had opened up that would have led to a Vancouver first down, but he doesn't take it. Instead, opts to try to bounce it even further outside. And it's to Vancouver's detriment as they have to punt it away again.
And look, Aaron, I mean, you were right on like usual. That's a 2nd and inches. You would think that that would be easy money for any team to convert, especially a team with as great of an offense as Vancouver has had this year. and has had for the last couple of years, they fail twice. And instead of going for it down by 21 midway through the third, they punt it away, and St. Louis is not punished for that interception at all.
I'm confused and concerned for this Legion team, I'll be honest with you.
We know Andy Hamilton likes to roll the dice, does so with his personnel, does so with his play calling. It usually works out for him, but he decides to play it safe here. Martinez on the give, hit from behind by Kevin Brackett, and a gain of just 1. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for links to apparel from Sector 6, the official apparel provider of the Simulation Football League, and SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. Sector 6 features replica team jerseys and completely customized jackets, flags, t-shirts, and more. Cairo Martinez with the give, and again he stopped, this time tackled for a loss. Achilles Papatonis was there. Kyler Murray was there. Stopped for a loss of 1, and now it's 3rd down and long.
Yeah, the Legion defense doing absolutely everything in their power to try and prevent any further damage being done by the St. Louis team.
Either offense has come out of the halftime locker room, it feels like. 4 minutes and change left in the third quarter. Brown, deep shot into traffic, juggled and dropped by Kyler Murray. That one should have been picked, should have been the 3rd interception from Brown. Instead, it will be 4th down and 10, and St. Louis will have to punt.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, I believe, looking for his 2nd interception on the day with that one. Not able to keep a hand around it, though, but it is going to force St. Louis to punt the ball away. So potential to right the wrongs on their previous drive does Vancouver have after that 3-and-out.
The Legion nearly get on that block from Johnny Pickles, and the return coming up from Dean Maddox. Not a whole lot of running room there. Unofficially, our stats team, Rochelle Colston and Tom Rahman, telling us, doing some quick math here, Aaron, 46 total yards of offense between these two teams over the first 3 combined possessions. 11 for Vancouver, 35 for St. Louis, and a 4-and-out on that, or 3-and-out rather, for St. Louis on that drive with 0 net yards. And so we are, as we were, 7 minutes gone in this third quarter. Vancouver still trailing by 21. What would be an absolute SFL shock. Here goes Redford against the league's #1 run defense, and a nice pickup for Redford and a gain of 7.
Yeah, I think if Vancouver's going to stand a chance to close the gap, I think putting the ball in the hands of Robert Redford, definitely the way to do it, despite being against the #1 run defense of the league here with St. Louis.
They average 56 rushing yards allowed per game. St. Louis, Redford stuck under 30 in this game. Nice toss that time from Pepper. Dan Daly has that catch. A 1st down out to the 44.
Yeah, and honestly, I think these short passes as well, getting your tight ends involved, definitely going to be key for Vancouver as well, especially since these deep ball passes to the likes of Brett Killian and Kendra Hall just haven't really been working. As part of the reason Tom Pepper has 3 interceptions.
Yeah, they've been non-existent this game. Pepper's longest completion, 22 yards out of the backfield to Robert Redford. That's it. 1st down. Pepper trying to change that. That was a nice-looking throw into one-on-one coverage. Kendra Hall was the target, but the St. Louis secondary again makes the stand.
Yeah, and I believe that was... Oh, goodness, I actually didn't get the number of the defender on that ball there that was one-on-one with Kendra Hall. It stands to reason that may have been the long arm of the law.
I think you might be right. Roger Law's down there at the bottom of your screen once again. 2nd and 10 for Pepper. Over the middle this time. What a hit at the end of the play by Warner, but Chris Curtis somehow hauls that pass in right on the sticks. Gain of 10, 1st down.
Yeah, what a hit by Warner, but what a grab by Chris Curtis. The veteran receiver in his 1st year here with Vancouver comes up with a big 1st down play here for the Legion.
His 3rd catch of the day. Now he leads the Vancouver receiving corps in terms of total catches. Had just 2 last week. On the ground, they go to Redford. Sidestep, and Robert Redford picks up a couple. Again, the St. Louis defense is ready to collapse. This Vancouver offense, as we've said, has been lethal all season long. 2nd in the SFL in points per game at 32.6. 2nd in the league in passing yards per game at 388. There's Pepper. You see him at 128. first in total yards at 488, just a shade under 500 total yards of offense so far today, south of 150. Here goes Redford once again. Nice tackle by Rodney Panani. Haven't heard from him very much. Third-year middle linebacker, third year with St. Louis, I should say. 7th year overall. One-on-one tackle there on the natural gain of 3.
Yeah, there was definitely another hold there. Panani had been sealed by the receiver. I believe that was Brett Killian on that run play. But Redford, for some reason, continuing outside instead of cutting it up in.
Vancouver on the fringes of field goal range for Rakowski here from the 28. Again, they will run it with Redford. And again, St. Louis is ready. Panani was there. Freeman Peltier, who's had a massive game, comes in to help stop him. Freeman has not been very busy against the run all season, Aaron, but he has been living on the line of scrimmage today. A big tackle for loss for the 10th-year veteran. That brings up 4th down. Is Vancouver going to have to punt it here? They will. This is the risk you run. It would be a 46-yard kick. Ramon Rakowski's not going to attempt it, and so Patrick punts it away. It rolls and dies near the 2, and it's down at the 3. An unbelievable bounce. Defies the laws of physics, Aaron. We'll get another look at this one. I have no idea how this happened.
I think it's just a good special teams play by Vancouver. I'll admit, I'm definitely surprised they decided to opt for the punt instead of the 46-yarder. Though potential this could turn to their advantage should they stop St. Louis from going anywhere on this drive.
Vancouver playing the long game perhaps, but not a lot of time with which to do it. Cairo Martinez gets the carry, picks up just 1. Kevin Brackett makes the stop. I mean, to your point, Aaron, when you know that St. Louis is not usually the big bombastic offense that Vancouver is, Martinez does not usually give you a lot on the ground, and this is the neck of the woods that you try to rely on your ball carriers. Maybe this is a good long-term strategy, but now less than a minute left in the third. Vancouver still down by 21. Time not on their side. On the ground they go again. Martinez again runs into Brackett again. This time gets 4.
Yeah, definitely what you expect in the shadow of their own goalposts here. But if you're Vancouver, you definitely want more pressure than what you've been getting, especially on these handoffs in the backfield. You stop them, you pin them at your own 3, you're definitely thinking, hey, let's try and get a safety here.
Well, so much for that. Then on 3rd and 5, St. Louis will go to the fullback, Bill Cherry, and St. Louis out of the shadow of its own end zone. 3 straight runs, the Gladiators do the job. No change in score, done with 3. St. Louis still up by 21. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on For the Fans. One more quarter to play from Canada Field in Vancouver, BC, alongside Aaron Alexander with Tom Rahman, Rochelle Colston, Cameron Irvine, and Mike St. Green. I'm Tim Hackett. Happy to have you with us on For the Fans. St. Louis trying to spring a massive upset on the road. Christian Brown will swing it out to Cairo Martinez, the tailback, in 3 straight runs for St. Louis from their own 3, Aaron. And we talked about this is the weakness of the St. Louis offense, but they pound the rock 3 straight plays. They give it to their stud fullback. St. Louis in the chat calling it a cherry bomb on 3rd down and 5. Bill Cherry delivers, and now St. Louis forget out of the shadows of their own end zone. They're out across the 20-yard line and trying to milk this game out, up by 21 on the road in a game where they were 10.5-point underdogs. Here goes Martinez, nothing doing for him there. Great tackle by Papatonis.
Yeah, Papatonis finally getting himself into the backfield on that run there. Something that I just noticed that I'd like to point out. Cam and Mike were talking in the pregame how yesterday it was all teams with the worst records that lost last week. St. Louis with a win here would be the exception to that rule.
No kidding. Trying to do so, and how. Brown into traffic, and a diving interception is made by Drew Hamilton. There were 4 blue shirts there, and a poor decision from Christian Brown on 3rd down. Vancouver with new life to start the 4th.
Yeah, a very, very poor decision indeed, but a great turn and read by Drew Hamilton, who picks up interception number 20 on his career and interception number 7 in this season. And Vancouver with their defense with another momentum-shifting interception here early in this 4th quarter.
You know, if Vancouver, when they're firing on any sort of their normal wavelength, getting the ball from the 33 is almost a sure thing. Can they take advantage? Redford gets the carry. Redford gives them 6. This Vancouver offense has been non-existent so far today, Aaron. We talked about this already. South of 200 all-purpose yards for a team that averages nearly 500 yards per game. Best in the league, but St. Louis is number 2 defensively in terms of yards allowed, 324 per game. So far, advantage Gladiators. From the 27, Pepper this way, hits Chris Curtis in stride, and the veteran wideout gets Vancouver to the 3.
Yeah, Chris Curtis gets his 4th catch on as many targets here. And Chris Curtis, despite the current shortcomings of the Legion, has proven to be the light at the end of the tunnel here for Tom Pepper and the Legion, as Vancouver finds itself within striking distance.
Is this Robert Redford territory? 9 minutes left in regulation. They will go to him. Redford up the middle, no dice. Great stop by Mike Ballot, the rookie defensive tackle. St. Louis had a handful of 2nd-round picks. They took Mike Ballot 22nd overall in the 2nd round after they took Matthew Hulford 10th overall earlier in that round to round out this defensive line. Both of them are there on that stop. 2nd down now from the 1. 2 backs. Killian is the lone wideout to the bottom of the screen. Vancouver needs 21. It will throw instead. Pepper back of the end zone, swatted away. Risky throw, and that time it's Geralt Winkler, the 3rd-year free safety on the stop. 3rd and goal.
Correction, should have been Redford again on the run there. He got a 2-yard pickup on that 1st down run. Only a yard out. You would think go to him again, get that extra 2 yards. You've got 7. You're closer to closing this gap and maybe turning this game around. Unfortunately, they decide to throw there on 2nd down, but this one, it looks like another run here.
4-down territory, do you think?
Probably.
On 3rd down, here is Redford. Belatedly gets the carry and has nowhere to go. Stopped up for a loss of 2. St. Louis was ready for that one. Back-to-back plays by Geralt Winkler.
Yeah, a big stop by Winkler there on the TFL. Vancouver deciding not to take the risk, are going to kick a field goal here, which would put them only down by 18, but still a long way to go if Vancouver wants any chance of winning this game.
Ramon Rakowski is 3 of 3 on his kicks in this game, but Aaron, I think clearly that tackle for loss against Redford changed the calculus, but I mean, let me be blunt here. As you had just hinted at, it's now an 18-point deficit. What does that field goal give you? It's still a 3-possession game with 8 minutes left. That field goal gives you nothing if you're Vancouver. If you go for the touchdown and you fail, it's still a 3-possession game. What does that do?
Yeah, I definitely think they should have gone for it there, because even if they don't convert, you still pin St. Louis within their own red zone. You have a good defense. Yeah, the front line hasn't been able to get a lot of pressure behind the line of scrimmage, but, maybe that's the one time they do, and it's a 2-point safety. You get the ball back, have another chance to score, and all of a sudden, it's a 9-point swing in your favor.
Fantastic secondary point. St. Louis would have started with the ball from their own 3 for the second straight drive, and we saw St. Louis be able to break out of those chains initially, but ended up throwing the pick. 3 in this game for Brown, 3 in this game for Pepper as well. From the 29, Brown off of his back foot floats it up. That could have been picked again. Almost back-to-back throws into the hands of Drew Hamilton. Instead, St. Louis will survive.
Yeah, a blessing in disguise for St. Louis that ball off the fingertips of Drew Hamilton, looking for pick number 2 here. Would have been a big momentum swing in Vancouver's favor and could have set up a Cinderella comeback story for the Legion.
Hamilton back in the defensive backfield after a year away, and what a year it's been. 87 tackles entering action today. Now 8 pass deflections and 7 picks. A regular stat sheet stuffer with the original playing next to him. Out of the backfield, this is Cairo Martinez. He gets absolutely thwomped by Kevin Brackett and a pickup of 6, but the clock continues to run. Now 7.5 to go.
Yeah, this clock running for St. Louis is of detriment to the Legion, who, as we've mentioned, currently down by 3 scores.
What a win this would be for St. Louis with 2 games left in the regular season, both against division opponents coming up. Brown floats it up. Guy Clausen brings it in. Second big catch of the day for the sophomore tight end, and a clutch first down for the Gladiators.
Yeah, absolutely great catch there by the second-year tight end. And as you mentioned, 2 upcoming opponents, both division rivals, wins here. A win here puts them in a position where they have a chance to win this division. It does St. Louis.
It's completely up for grabs for them at this point. Here's the give. Cherry up the middle, and a nice run for Bill Cherry. A pickup of 7. He has had a really strong game here today, Aaron. We mentioned he has used a ton. Not a very good average, as you might expect, in terms of rushing yards for a fullback, but 76 carries, 250 yards coming in, 7 carries, 28 yards. It's an average of 4 per clip. Obviously, in this game, he has been dynamite. They'll go to Martinez, and he is wrestled down from behind. Great stop, gain of just 1.
Yeah,
there's Judas
Cherry Bomb, definitely a on-the-nose nickname for the St. Louis fullback, who has been explosive for the St. Louis offense despite being a fullback. His now over 250 yards sets him up as the best rushing fullback in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
And he's having a down game with only 7 carries. 3rd and 3. Brown floats it up, and it's caught. A big-time catch going skyward. Eagle Mondavi down to the 32. Another first down for St. Louis.
Eagle Mondavi unleashing his wings on that catch there in order to make a play on it. Just a great ball from Christian Brown, despite 4 Vancouver defenders in the area. The wingspan of Eagle Mondavi able to keep them at bay.
St. Louis offense was completely non-existent in the 3rd quarter, Aaron, let's be honest. But here in the 4th, they have looked really strong, though Vancouver outscoring them 3-0 after halftime. Brown again to the air. Again, it's ripped down by Phil Koss, and a gain of 9 for the 3rd-year tight end, who's had a big game.
Yeah, this has been just a really big game all around for St. Louis. They've spread the ball out incredibly well. They've gotten a bit of a run game going with Cairo Martinez and Bill Cherry. This has been just a complete game for the Gladiators, and Vancouver has been uncharacteristically poor in this game.
2nd and 1. Another first down for St. Louis. Martinez delivers. To your point, Aaron, they have spread the ball around extremely well. 11 combined catches for Dilivu and Mondavi. You expect that. Those are the 2 figureheads, but Koss, Clausen, Martinez, and Cherry, they've combined for 8 catches. So that is a much better spread of the wealth than what St. Louis normally does. I don't think it's any surprise that is correlated with this big lead. Vancouver has done very little to break into it after halftime. 4:20 left in regulation time. St. Louis starting to milk the clock. Here goes Martinez. Nice tackle. One-on-one by Kevin Brackett, who is one of the best linebackers in the SFL for my money. Queen City continuing to pile it on Charleston on the SFL Twitch page. Right here on For the Fans, St. Louis trying to spring what would be the biggest upsets of this SFL regular season. You see at the top of your screen, Vancouver favored by 10.5 by the fine folks at Jack's Data, who do a tremendous job predicting games here in the SFL. St. Louis has flipped the script today.
Yeah, anybody who bet big on St. Louis in this game is absolutely loving it right now.
On the way to a big payout, Martinez, gain of a couple, Brackett on the stop once again. And Aaron, we talked about who's watching this game closely. LA fans, Portland fans, Vancouver right in the thick of things in their division, no question about it. But on the other side of it, folks watching with bated breath, Louisiana and Atlanta, that division is ripe for the taking. Atlanta in the driver's seat right now, no doubt, with the win earlier, but that division is completely up for grabs. And as you said earlier, if St. Louis wins today, they stay in striking distance and could still win it. You never know. 3 minutes now and change left in the fourth. Late clock dips under 5. On third down, Martinez is trucked. Great stop by Vancouver. They needed that one.
Yeah, definitely much needed by the Legion. They are still going to allow points to the Gladiators team. They're going to, barring the field goal attempt, of course, going to be up by 21 yet again.
These two kickers have been perfect today. We started off talking about this game, about how you allocate your players in the SFL. Most teams decide to roster a kicker. That means kickoffs easier. That makes field goals easier. That makes PATs almost a given. Neither of these two teams roster a kicker. And Taz von Wolfswinkel is on, and he makes it. These two non-star kickers are combined 7 of 7 in this game, Aaron, and the 21-point lead is restored.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the amount of time that's left, I believe that is the death sentence for the Vancouver Legion. Of course, crazier things have happened in this league, so I'm definitely not counting Vancouver out just yet. But it's not looking good for the Legion.
21-point deficit. That is where Vancouver entered this second half. They strike first. St. Louis responds on a methodical drive that eats up a lot of time, and we're ticking close to the 2-minute warning. Next Sunday on For the Fans, you won't want to miss the slate of action. It kicks off at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Undefeated Baltimore visits 7-2 Queen City in an epic battle between two of the top 4 teams in the league, followed by 2 playoff hopefuls from opposite coasts when Portland heads to Atlanta to take on the Swarm. Bonus coverage includes rivalries Carolina against Charleston and DC against London. It all comes your way next Sunday, October 3rd on For the Fans. Vancouver needs to strike, and they need to strike now. Pepper looking for Curtis. Swatted away. Nice coverage by Tony Anderson, who is, or check that, it's Northrup, one of the backups for St. Louis.
Yeah, definitely a good defense there by the backup corner, Northrup. To your point, though, mentioning the Atlanta-Portland game next week, both of these teams going to be looking that way. Of course, Vancouver going to want Atlanta to win, St. Louis hoping Portland comes up with the win. Because if Portland does win that game, the week after St. Louis and Atlanta play each other.
Oh, big gain here, not over yet. Curtis accelerates into enemy territory. One man to beat. He can't do it. Chris Curtis is taken out of bounds. What a clutch play that was at the end of the run. Colin Douglas makes the hit, but Vancouver will be able to run another play before the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, definitely a sign of life here for the Vancouver Legion after that pass to Chris Curtis. And Vancouver now finds himself in Gladiators territory with just 1 second left on the clock before this 2-minute warning.
That puts Chris Curtis up over 100 receiving yards unofficially. Half of Tom Pepper's passing yards have gone to Chris Curtis. That does not happen often. Pepper now to throw. Back of the end zone, wide open, touchdown. Vancouver is into the end zone for the first time today. Tom Pepper to Kendra Hall, the 10th time this season. And suddenly, Aaron, Vancouver is not dead yet.
Yeah, I did say that despite the deficit, Vancouver definitely still in this game. Crazier things have happened. Kendra Hall with just her second grab on the day with that catch.
It has been a long time coming for one of the best in the league. 2 minutes left in regulation. Vancouver might go for 2 when we come back. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on For the Famous. Less than 2 minutes left in regulation time. This elite Vancouver offense has finally found the end zone for the first time today. Kendra Hall has her 10th touchdown reception against a handful of Gladiator backups, and Ramon Rakowski on for the PAT. He remains perfect on his kicks today, and Aaron, Vancouver is back within 14, so onside kick coming up, 1:56 left, 3 timeouts. Look, man, stranger things have happened here in the SFL.
Yeah, definitely have to agree with you on that one. Vancouver, though, realistically absolutely needs to recover this onside kick attempt in order to have any sort of chance, because St. Louis is just going to hold a death grip on the ball if they pick it up here, which they do.
Speaking of death grip, very nicely done by St. Louis, and they will start with the ball in enemy territory. Kendra Hall has been so good this year for Vancouver, over 1,000 receiving yards. Now 10 touchdowns. She averages 114 receiving yards per game. Last week, 10 catches, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a 74-yard TD. Today, 2 catches for 32 yards. Brett Killian, 2 catches, 18 yards. The St. Louis defense has been absolutely unreal. Martinez with a gain of 1, Vancouver quick timeout. I figured we would be talking about, Aaron, at some point today, Brett Killian getting close to 1,000 receiving yards. He entered today with 927, so he averages 103. So if he did anything remotely close to what he normally does, he would have joined Kendra Hall over the 1,000-yard mark this season in just 10 games. But he's not going to even get close to that if Vancouver doesn't get the ball back, doesn't go his way. What a defensive performance from St. Louis, and a great performance all around. Martinez again to give, again a 1-yard gain. Vancouver with a quick stop from McGuire.
Yeah, a stop here on the defensive side of the ball as we get a look at the current playoff standings here. A stop by the Legion, though, forces St. Louis to potentially punt the ball away, giving Vancouver an opportunity to try and get back in this game as they're currently down 14.
Saw St. Louis all the way down at the bottom of your screen at number 14 in the playoff picture. Brown hit as he throws. Mike Coverson has had a massive game. It might not be enough for Vancouver, but a coming out party for the third-year defensive end from Ontario has been huge today, and that will force a fourth down, just like you're talking about, Aaron. And more importantly, Vancouver doesn't have to use its third timeout.
Yeah, that's definitely a big bonus here for the Legion, being that they ruled that basically an incomplete pass, which stops the clock here. Blessings going toward the way of the Legion at the moment.
And so the very purposefully named punter, Johnny Pickles, on to come out and punt once again, and St. Louis will field that in the end zone. That's Northrop again, not able to hold that one out of the end zone.
Yeah, a bit too much momentum by Northrop trying to stop that ball short. Unfortunately, lands in the end zone after grabbing the punt by Pickles. And Vancouver's going to start this drive on their own 20.
98 seconds left in regulation, one timeout, and a 14-point deficit for perhaps the best offense, perhaps the best quarterback in the SFL, Pepper. Coxon fires into traffic. There were 3 Gladiators and a referee there. Rodney Panani was there to help the stop, and that was not the way that Vancouver designed this comeback bid.
No, but a key thing, though, is it does stop the clock because it is an incomplete pass, meaning Vancouver, again, doesn't have to use their last time out just yet. Gives them a bit of time to try and readjust, maybe rethink the game plan a little bit here with just over a minute and a half to go here in the game.
Remember, St. Louis has 6 standouts in the secondary. They are built for situations like this, and they also just dropped back their middle linebacker, Panani, who doesn't have an interception this season, in to help with that coverage. Vancouver will spread it out and go 5 wide with 93 seconds left in regulation, down by 14. Curtis on the receiving end of that pass from Pepper. Nice link up again. Curtis now safely over 100 yards. Back they go. 1:20 left in regulation. Pepper surveys, bombs it down the left sideline, picked off. That'll seal it for St. Louis. Pepper going to his longtime running mate, Brett Killian, and another takeaway by this St. Louis secondary. Rolger Law makes the play, and St. Louis is going to pull off one of the biggest upsets of the year.
Yeah, Brett Killian feeling the long arm of the law all game long. The second-year cornerback holding Brett Killian to just 18 yards in this game, and I'm honestly shocked at this turn of events for St. Louis.
St. Louis had one of the best secondaries in the SFL last year, but Andrew O'Reilly and Colin Northrop and company completely refigured it. Freeman Peltier and Colin Douglas, 2 standout safeties, both moved out to play corner this offseason. They bring back 5 starters, including those guys in different positions. They move Nicholas Warner from linebacker to safety to help fill the gap. And the new member of this secondary is Rolger Law, who spent his rookie year with Houston, joins back up with his friend Geralt Winkler in the St. Louis secondary. He is who seals this game, the newest member of this excellent St. Louis defensive backfield. It's the new man, the Law, laying it down to seal this win for St. Louis, and what a win it's going to be. The Gladiators will keep pace in their division. They're right in the thick of things with Louisiana, Atlanta still on the schedule.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Rolger win Defensive Rookie of the Year last season?
Fantastic point. You're right. Stood out as a rookie with the Houston Hyenas. Prized offseason acquisition for Nicholas Warner and the St. Louis Brass. And he makes a huge play to keep St. Louis right in the mix. This doesn't spell the end for Vancouver, Aaron, but with no quality wins really on the schedule, they will fall to 6-4. They may need to win out to really give themselves a good chance. I still think Vancouver is likely to be in the playoffs at 6-6 at the very worst, but when it comes down to those tiebreakers, if they don't have any quality wins, that might leave them on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and I said it earlier in the season, but with the quality of teams that we've seen this season, there's a strong possibility that even 6-6 isn't going to be good enough to breach the top 12 and make playoffs, as this game is over.
It is over. St. Louis springs one of the biggest upsets of the SFL season. 10.5-point underdogs on the road. The Gladiators beat the electric Vancouver Legion 30-16. Aaron Alexander, what a game, especially defensively from St. Louis. Christian Brown, 4 touchdown passes. I was right the first time. 3 touchdown passes and 3 picks. It has been a tremendous game for St. Louis, especially on the defensive side.
Yeah, we kind of alluded to it multiple times throughout the broadcast. As far as yardage goes, the St. Louis defense, one of the best as far as strangleholds defensively, and they prove it here against arguably the best combined attack in the SFL, in the Vancouver Legion, holding them to just under 400, I believe, maybe even less than that, maybe under 300.
Yeah, under 300.
And considering this is the team that before this game would average just under 500 yards a game, definitely an unexpected twist for Vancouver.
You're right. Strength on strength. This fantastic offense for Vancouver. Nearly 500 total yards of offense on average through 9 games. Against this next level St. Louis defense, less than 325 yards allowed per game. Second best in the league through 9 games. Strength on strength, and defense wins in this one. Vancouver's only touchdown coming late. Christian Brown with 3 touchdown passes. He is the player of the game. Thanks for joining us. For Tom Rahman, Rochelle Colston, and Aaron Alexander, I'm Tim Hackett. Let's send you out to Buffalo for bonus coverage alongside Stephen Hacker. Here's Michael Truilla. We'll see you next time.
Many teams were coming into this week 5-4, 4-5, you know, or even 6-3. You could potentially fall out of it. And now the kneel downs are coming for backup quarterback Booker Repka. So next Saturday on Next Level Sports will be an interesting time to be alive. We welcome those of you who just watched St. Louis beat Vancouver 30-16. Right here, it's the Queen City Corsairs over the Charleston Predators, 38-6. And well, you've missed a lot of Queen City offense and a lot of defensive domination as they held the Predators out of the end zone for the entire game. My name is Michael Trevino. Stephen Hacker is alongside me in commentary for the last 35 seconds, and that will be the final kneel down before we go to our post game. So, summing this one up, as we're now 27 seconds and counting toward the end of it, it really was Queen City dominated the first half, went at a halftime 28-0, and just sort of cruised in the second half.
Yeah, I think Queen City continued to stay conservative and wanted to see what kind of adjustments Charleston would make coming into the second half, because they felt like they didn't really have to change a whole lot. When you play almost a perfect first half, why do you really need to make a whole lot of changes unless the other team comes out and does something drastic? And I don't think that Charleston took a big swing to try to go for the fences with anything. And so Queen City just kind of maintained the status quo and rode this one out to a victory here at home.
That's it. It's gone final at Conpro Field in Buffalo, New York. The Queen City Corsairs are still looking for a first-round playoff bye, and they got a big boost before next weekend's massive showdown with Baltimore in a 38-6 comprehensive deconstruction of the Charleston Predators. Stephen Hacker, what did you make of today's ball game?
Well, I really saw a Queen City team that did their homework offensively and, like you said, Michael, defensively. I don't think Charleston really had an opportunity to do any of the things that they wanted to do, whereas on the other side of the ball, Queen City was able to execute everything. They wanted to get the fullback Chris Comisac involved today. He was involved. They wanted to take the deep shot down the field with Doug Spelling. Well, they did. They wanted to get Deezer Powell involved underneath to move the chains, and he did. So I think that Queen City is showing that they're ready to make a playoff push, and they have a huge matchup, as you alluded to, Michael, next week against the North leader Baltimore Vultures, and that's going to be a heck of a ball game. A preview of what the playoffs is going to offer us is both of those teams are extremely hot right now, playing as good a football as you can. So Queen City just is on fire right now, looking great, looking like a team to beat. But Charleston's still hanging on to their playoff hopes as they've got a couple of games left in the season. They are not out of this thing yet.
Your player of the game is Jet 0, 2 touchdowns. Could have been 3, but it was taken away from him by a challenge. 117 yards, on 22 carries. That'll do it from Cosgrove Field. It was a big one. 38-6, the Queen City Corsairs defeat the Charleston Predators. For Shan Varner on stats, Stephen Hacker on co-commentary. My name is Michael Truillo. Now we send it back to SFL Studios for analysis, and what's next after these messages? Stay tuned.
Welcome to the post-game show. I am Cameron Irvine. I almost said I'm Mike St. Green. Alongside Mike St. Green. And, wow, a couple of surprising blowouts in the first block. Mike, let's start with, as Tim Hackett put it on the air, one of the bigger upsets of the year. A 10.5-point dog on the road. St. Louis now 5-5. They get the win, 30-16. Second home game for Vancouver, where they have just looked totally destructible on offense.
And Cam, that's okay. Of the slip of the tongue, everyone wants to be me.
Oh, here we go.
That is fully understandable. That slip of the tongue. But yeah, totally dominating performance, as I mentioned, and it's pretty much stayed that way after halftime. But yeah, this is a head scratcher for me in particular. One note that I have the rushing game of Vancouver. We saw this a few weeks back with Arizona. They totally shut down Robert Redford, and Robert Redford only 29 yards on the ground again today, and that's just so odd to see that, and as well as Tom Pepper. I mean, right around 235 yards. That ball hawking secondary of St. Louis pretty much shut the passing game down. Man, it was a bizarre performance from Vancouver, but you cannot take anything away from the way St. Louis's defense totally dominated this game.
St. Louis is one of those teams, although they have never won. I take that back. They beat. Didn't they? No, they did not beat Chicago in the playoff. They have not won a playoff game in franchise history, but they are not a team. If they can make it into the playoffs, they are not a team I would want to play. And wins on the road like this make teams a little fearful.
At the end of the day, Cam, St. Louis thus far this weekend are the only team that has stepped up and taken the reins and said, hey, we are a good team. We intend on being in this playoff race until the very end. And as I've mentioned, they look like they're better than – they're 5-5 now, but they look like they were better than a 4-5 team coming into this week. And they proved that today. They like I said, from very start of this game, they took control, mainly led by the defense here. Freeman Peltier had an early interception on the very first offensive play for Vancouver, and they never looked back. The offense was solid enough. Christian Brown, he likes to sling it around a little bit. He did have some hiccups with a couple of turnovers and bad throws, but the defense never let Vancouver get anything going to where it made any significant difference in the game.
Yeah, now, unfortunately for St. Louis, they have a pretty tough way to end their season. They got 5-5 Louisiana, and they got 7-3 Atlanta. But this division is in their hands. They need one bit of help. That's Portland pulling an upset on Atlanta. But if that happens, St. Louis wins out. They are the division winners. They win the East, which is crazy to think about. That's a lot of pressure on Portland to pull off a road victory like that. But, I mean, hey, 2 weeks to go, you're still alive. What more can you ask for? They were in the same position last season when they won it.
But I tell you what, Cam, coming into these last 3 games, looking at St. Louis's schedule, I kind of felt like, man, they have a tough road to try to, make it into the playoffs. Vancouver, of course, winning record. Louisiana at the time, playing well. Winning record, and of course, as you mentioned, Atlanta at 7-3. But now, after winning this big game today, it doesn't look like as much of a daunting task going into the final 2 games. Louisiana suffered a loss to Los Angeles yesterday, and now they're 5-5, and man, that's going to set up a monster matchup next week as to see who's going to go into Week 12 above 500. And Atlanta, yes, they are 2 games up in that division, but up until the past couple of weeks, Atlanta has not looked all that great on the offense. But they've kind of gotten BDG Hollywood going over the past couple of weeks. So of course, that's going to be a tough game going into that. But not a huge mountain to climb at this point. Solid roster, solid team, solid defense. The offense is deceivingly good. Paul Delavu and Eagle Mondavi, a great receiving core over there. St. Louis has as good a shot right now as anyone. They put themselves in a great position.
Atlanta scored 48 last night against Tulsa, but it was against Tulsa. Tulsa's really, I mean, they are reeling. Tulsa and Sioux Falls absolutely reeling. So I don't know what to take out of that, Mike. I really don't. I mean, at least they didn't. At least they didn't. Let the game get away from them and play down to their competition. But I mean, I don't know what to say about Tulsa at this point.
I mean, basically, Atlanta, as you mentioned, it was Tulsa. Tulsa hasn't scored more than 17 points other than outside of one game this season. So we don't know what to take from that victory that Atlanta had yesterday. Putting up 48 points, man. They look good, but Atlanta has a solid roster. We know that, but weighing both performances of Vancouver and Atlanta against one another this weekend, I would give St. Louis the edge right now.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta's one of the best teams in the league, no doubt about it. We're just saying we don't know what to take out of last night. There's not much there. Now, we do know what we can take out of Queen City and Charleston because Queen City bludgeoned the Predators 38-6. It was ugly from the jump. And Queen City they have set themselves up essentially for this monstrous Week 11 matchup against Baltimore. Queen City's now 8-2 with the rest of them. They remain in 4th because Mexico City and Florida are division leaders right now. But the North Division is not done. Queen City, if they beat Baltimore, would be 1 game back and have the tiebreaker, then they would need some help. London would need to upset Baltimore in Week 12. Queen City would need to take care of D.C. in Week 12. And Queen City could win the division at 10-2 and send Baltimore into no worse than 4. But they would lose home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Again, a lot of ifs. We do a lot of ifs with 3 weeks to go in any league. But They took care of it. Now Charleston's in some trouble. Portland has a great opportunity later tonight to separate themselves from this 5-4 group because Louisiana was a part of that group and they lost. So Portland really has a great opportunity, especially now with Vancouver losing, to get themselves to launch themselves up into this into a new 6-4 category on the fringe of a wild card home game. But back to Queen City for a second, their 38-6 route.
Yeah, Cam, I was going to say, yeah, we do not want to gloss over this great performance from Queen City today. And as you mentioned, this was, I mean, if you thought St. Louis took control of a game early and put it away by halftime, I mean, Queen City from the very first drive pretty much said, hey, we are going to establish ourselves as a dominant force in this game and not really give Charleston a chance at all. And I want to say 15-plus play drive, very first play drive of the game, took up more than half of the first quarter, punched it in with a jet zero touchdown, and followed that up with another huge drive to start the second quarter with another jet zero touchdown. And then they also showed, hey, we can do it other ways as well. They got Deezer Powell involved, the rookie wide receiver. I can't think of his name right off the top right now. He got Spelling. He got involved. So yeah, they show we can do it on the ground. We can, we can do it through the air. We had a graphic, to start the day off, talking about the top quarterbacks in the league for his QBR goes. AJ Caswell had another efficient game, a couple of touchdown passes, 233 yards. AJ Caswell type of day, and then the defense also stepped up. It was a big interception at the in the end zone by the other rookie Cody Griffin to end the first half, and totally dominated Charleston today, and I'm a little disappointed with Charleston's performance. I mean, they've had a couple of opportunities here in the past couple of weeks against Florida as well to maybe step up and say, hey, that we belong, and they have failed in both of those opportunities.
Yeah, I thought they were a little better, but fool's gold the last couple of weeks. Charleston may not be there yet, maybe a season away under this new leadership. They're going in the right direction, but when they face the upper echelon of the league, they have not stepped up and performed. All right, here is what's coming up later this evening. It is off for the Fans Network, but you can catch us on Twitch at FTF Twitch, twitch.tv/FTF Next, or on the SFL's Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SimulationFL, and you can see where all of those games will be airing today. I do want to focus on Portland real quick to start off this little preview segment, Mike, because are they in trouble? Their last two games are Atlanta and Vancouver. That's rough. And their strength of victory is real bad. I don't think they'll make the playoffs at 6-6, which means they need to win 2 of their next 3, which means they got to take care of San Diego today, who's playing a lot better. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, Cam, Portland could be in a little trouble. I think I value them a little more than maybe other people do, mainly because of the running game and a solid defense. But yeah, they have not stepped up and maybe have the signature win under their belts yet. They did beat Denver earlier in the season, but they're not the same Denver that that won the championship last season. And and San Diego, they've been playing very well as of late. They had a big win against St. Louis last weekend, and they also beat another team that's in playoff positioning right now, Arizona. So a big game today for Portland to prove that, hey, we belong. We're still in the conversation, and it's like I said, it's even more huge because of the opponents they have coming up in the next coming weeks.
Yeah. Now the one feather in their cap they do have is that on convention weekend they blistered San Diego pretty good. They kind of handedly took them out. That was a long time ago, so we'll see what happens. But back to the playoffs for just a second. Coming up next on FTF Twitch in about 6 minutes, Lone Star takes on Houston. Houston is in that 15 spot just off the graphic. But the winner of that game, they're probably going to go into the top 12 here and muck it up with the 5-5 crew that Portland is hoping to avoid being a part of. This is a monster game as the South title is out of reach with Mexico City clinching it already.
Yeah, Cam, as you mentioned, monster game for as who's going to get the leg up in this 4-5, 5-5, 4-6 type matchup, deal that we have down at the bottom of the standings right now, and who is going to keep a realistic chance at making the playoffs. This is going to be a big game today. Houston, they're going to want to be high flying. We're going to see DRCM, Dave Burr, and that high flying Houston offense, and we're probably going to see a lot of Warren Murray today as well. And Lone Star, they like to do a lot of same things. They don't want to get Greg Soto. You're going to see Dave Axis, but they also are going to want to pound the rock, and you're going to see 5 yards in the cloud of dust with Ike McBride. But 3 yards in the cloud of dust is not her style. She wants to do 5-6 yards plus, and if they can get her going and keep that Houston offense off the field, it's going to be a big day for Lone Star, I think.
With St. Louis's win, that now means that a team after this week will be at 500 and out of the playoffs, at least one, because you've got now, if you can adjust your eyes on the graphic, right? Portland moves up to 9, Charleston and Louisiana and St. Louis are now 10, 11, 12, and now you've got Lone Star, Vegas, Houston, all 4-5 on the outside looking in. You're probably going to have to be at least 500. And you may not even make the playoffs after that. So this is a huge game for Lone Star and Houston, because if they lose today, they drop to 6 losses, and now they are really in some trouble. So we'll see how it all shapes out. We thank our audience for watching us on For the Fans all over the world today for coverage of the Simulation Football League. Coverage on For the Fans continues next week on Sunday afternoon with a big slate of games, including Portland, Atlanta, as we talked about, Baltimore and Queen City, a battle between two of the top teams in the league, their first meeting this season and their only meeting this season. It's going to be very exciting, and a bunch of great bonus coverage games as well. Carolina, Charleston, which means a lot, and London, D.C., which means a lot. So for Mike St. Green, I'm Cameron Irvine. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. Mike, do you have any last words?
Hey, just great being here today. Great day of action, and look forward to seeing everyone again next week.
All right, see you next Sunday, FTF Nation, and come pop on, join us on Twitch, twitch.tv/FTF Next. We'll see you then. This has been your Sim Football Postgame, and we're out of here.